Police are simply calling him Revenant, a vicious and merciless serial killer who kidnaps his victims and subjects them to unspeakable acts of cruelty in order to earn their freedom, or as he calls it, their own rebirth. So far, police have predicted that only 2 of his almost 40 victims have escaped. However, none seem to have come forward to police about the details behind their capture and subsequent release. Little is known about the killer. However, the police have described his murder scenes as beyond disturbing, urging those in the Chicago area to be extra vigilant when out and about in the city after dark. Wake up. The voice rings in an echoey chamber. You hear it pierce your soul as your eyes shoot open. Welcome to your salvation. Hear my voice. You each open your eyes and see 2 men across from you, strapped to an upright operating table. A single solitary light above each of them, casting dark shadows under their nose and eyes. Each is bound to a metal table, the table itself rusted and blood-stained. Their heads are bolted in place by large metal bands, another around their wrists, neck, and around their stomachs. As your eyes start to focus, you notice that the 2 men are also awake and looking back at you as well. Their eyes, like yours, are filled with fear as you noticed a large drill positioned above each of their heads, pointing towards the ground, towards their skulls. Suddenly, you realize that you cannot move your head either, and that your hands are bound as well. Their eyes tell the story. A large drill must sit above your head, too. You can't turn side to side. The voice begins again through a crackling speaker in the ceiling. It's cold and calm, yet menacing. I am Revenant. You are the lucky. You have been chosen for rebirth. A resurrection of yourself to come out the other side of this a new man. Each of you has 2 buttons under your hands. As Revenant says this, you feel a large button beneath both of your hands, which are tied to the table. The button beneath your left hand will spare the 2 men across from you. If you each choose spare, you will be spared, your shackles removed. However, the button in your right hand will bring the large drill down on the head of the other 2, killing them both instantly. And what's more, I will let you free right now. No games, no strings. You will have been reborn, and you can go home. The voice echoes in the empty chamber. You see blackness around the 3 of you, which are standing, or again attached, facing the center, each other. Remember, only if you all choose to spare will you all go free. If one should choose to kill, then he will be set free, while the others die. On the wall in the distance, through the dark, you see a 5-minute timer begin to count down.
What happened? Why are we here? I call it to the other 2.
I don't know, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about this before we do anything that we might regret. All right?
Wait, which button did he say? Did he say the left one or the right one?
Left was spare.
To spare.
Oh.
I'm planning on pressing the left button. All
I am
right?
too.
Well, okay. He didn't say anything bad's going to happen if we press the left one.
Okay.
So you're set up with a perplexing situation, and for ease, what we're going to do is we're going to reveal our choices at the same time. Now, you still have 5 minutes to talk about what your choices are and try to convince the other 2, but basically, on Dice Stream, you have a fate die and you have a regular D6, which look like this. The red die, regardless of number, is your choice to press the right button, which is the kill button. And if you press this, the other 2 will die. If you press the blue or the fate, then you have agreed to spare. If all three press the blue button, then you are all spared. If all three press the red, you are all dead. If only one of you presses the red and the other two press the blue, the other two are dead, and that person is immediately set free.
Can we see their hands?
Your hands are palm down. Unfortunately, you can't reveal or show which button you're pressing. The clock ticks to 4 minutes.
Well, don't press anything yet. We should talk about it. Don't move your hands. You're making me nervous. I just am watching their hands and make sure they're not moving or twitching at all.
All right. Well, what's your name?
My name's Jeb Harrison. I don't know how I got here, but I intend to get home.
Okay. My name's Don. Jeb. Good to meet you. And how about you?
Doug Nikolai. I intend to get home too, but I don't know if I like the quick option.
No, me neither.
I suppose if we don't choose after 5 minutes, the choice will be made for us. Is that right? Can you hear me?
There's no answer, and your voice echoes through the darkened room. The clock on the wall says 3 minutes left.
I don't know if I'd trust this person, this Revenant character, even if he did say he was going to let us go.
Revenant, that sounds familiar. Did you?
Whether or not, though, wouldn't you rather go out knowing you chose the right thing?
Yeah, Doug.
I'm not a bad person. I wouldn't kill no man.
Oh.
All right. I'm pressing the left button.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Or,
No.
Was it the right button?
Left.
Left button. Sorry, left button.
Left button. All right.
So you all agree to press the button at the same time. Remember, the blue die signifies that you're willing to spare. The red die meaning that you're selfishly going to kill the other two and live and escape. Let's see what happens. Let's press them on 3, 2, 1. The clock stops on the wall. I'm surprised. The clock stops on the wall, and the crackling of the speakers sounds out. And so you chose to spare. Interesting that 3 men, such of yourselves, with the pasts such as yours, chose to spare each other. Very well. And with that, you hear a loud clang as the metal brackets around your neck, your chest, and your stomach swing back very quickly and send you each toppling to the cement floor beneath you. Welcome back to the Invictus stream! Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. We are here with my very best friend, Mr. David Wiseman. Give us a bow there, David. Oh.
How do we know he did it? How do we know he really bowed?
My other best friend, Mr. Chris Vasunu. And the incomparable Mr. Justin Thomas James. Oh. And we are here with a brand new one-shot series called Revenant. The First Encounter. This is a new one-shot series that brings the best parts of End of the World into the best parts of the film Saw with a little bit of horror elements, as well as our patented AMNESIA character role-playing system. Like it's a 1950s ad, which I'm going to get to in a second. This is, of course, more so than ever before, an 18-plus show. If you feel like you are not mature enough to watch the no-nos happen that are about to happen, then please go ahead and, close the video. But before you close the video, make sure you like. We have to, David. Give us likes on the YouTube video because it makes us feel really, really special. It makes us want to be happy and touch ourselves and do all the kind of things that just make us want to be better people. So please go ahead and like the video. Of course, if you are on Twitter, you can follow us at Invictus Stream. And most importantly, though, if you're on Facebook, you want to join our Facebook group and like our Facebook page. The Facebook group is where everybody gets together and hangs out and chats. It's sort of just a really loose-goosey, you know, kind of a hippie throwdown. We play a lot of.
We don't get to hang out on tonight.
We don't get to hang out tonight. These guys are supposed to stay away from it. Yeah, and I'll tell you one in a second. But, you know, come on by, play Wonderwall. And, you know, people will have a good time. That's what it really is. So join the Facebook group. When you join the Facebook group, you have a chance to win some experience points. Experience points are given out at 3 points during our live stream. At the beginning, right now, mid-game post, as well as the end-game post. The end-game post rewards the person who's most helpful. Now, if you want to be helpful to these guys tonight, you have to head over to the YouTube chat. I've instructed them not to be on the Facebook group because I'm going to be revealing information to you guys as part of our amnesia system, which I'll get to in a second. So if you want to help them, do it on the Facebook chat, you jerks. All right, thanks. The mid-game post is where we stop the action around 9:30 and we ask you guys a question. The first person to answer is going to get an XP. Finally, or I should say firstly, the MVP is rewarded at the beginning of the game. Now, the MVP is the person who during the week was the most helpful, the most interesting. And there were a lot of contenders this week, to be honest. There's a lot of really great posts. A lot of people did a lot of interesting things this weekend. Unfortunately, though, the game was sort of rigged from the start. I have to give it to the ever-pleasant, the ever-agreeable Miss Aisha Lyle for once again totally saving the day and creating a really fantastic trailer for this one-shot series. She created the Revenant trailer, which is just awesome. She had all these clips and this music, and then she herself did the voiceover, which you heard at the beginning. So thank you so much, Aisha, for doing that. Truly appreciated and well-deserved. Wrong sound effect. So what is Revenant? Again, it's a bit of End of the World's rules. These guys have all their character sheets on the Facebook group that you can read and kind of look through. The End of the World rules, again, are very straightforward. You need to roll under the number of the skill you have. So if you have a 3 in, say, logic, you need to roll under a 3 to succeed at it. And you roll any number of dice that I tell you to. The only thing we're changing in this game is there is going to be a bit of competitive rolling, which is basically going to be whatever you're against, you're going to be trying to get better than the other person. So let's say Chris's character has a logic of 3, while Justin's character has a logic of 4. If Chris succeeds at a level 3 and Justin fails, even though he's higher, Chris wins. However, if they both succeed, Justin is going to win, obviously, because his logic is higher. So a lot does matter on the stats in this case. It's not so much that you can alter them by upgrading, such as we did in Grimm. It's sort of just a by the numbers rolling. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, bitches. Now, the amnesia system is the other big part of this game. It's something that we've done a lot in our personal games. We've never introduced it to the stream, and it's something that we're really excited about. The amnesia system is for the experienced role player. It's for the guys like these guys and myself who love improv, who love being wacky, who love to roll with the punches. And what it basically is we dish out, or I should say as a GM, I dish out the characters as they come. So all they know about their characters are their names, their basic style and sort of accents, and that's about it. So we have David playing Mr. Doug Nikolai. We have Mr. Chris Viseau playing Jeb Harrison. And we have Justin Thomas James playing Dom Simpson. And we don't know anything else, and they don't know anything else. They've woken up without memories. And this is a tool that we've invested in some of our games when we feel like we've kind of gone through the drudgery of rolling up characters with extensive backgrounds. And what's going to happen is throughout the game, they're going to get really, really interesting bits of information for their characters' backgrounds. And it's going to allow them to sort of role play a little bit differently. For example, not in this game, but a previous game we had, the 3 characters woke up in an abandoned car. And the first bit of information they got, you know, was that, oh, you have a gun tucked in the back of your belt. Or you recognize the guy in the front seat. Or, you know, maybe later on, the character who you've been fighting with is actually your brother. So as you progress, it's going to be a little bit more different. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. And there's actually a sub-story that these guys get to write and create as they're playing the main game. And that is what the amnesia system is. So on the Facebook group, there is something called Memories. There is a big post there, and all you have to do is, if you want to find out what these guys are learning as they learn it, you just have to check there and read it. Please do not comment on that post. Leave it for me. You can like, you can reply if you want, but leave the main comments just for the memories so that they're easy to find for you guys. And that's part of the reason why I'm telling them to stay away, because that is where the information from the other characters is going to be revealed to you guys as well. Other than that, I'm going to be individually messaging them on Facebook about their memories. That's the Amnesia system. I'm excited to introduce it to you guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and you guys are going to like this game because of it. Finally, one totally off-topic thing. This Friday night, we are playing Resident Evil 7 on the Spooky Game Night stream. It just came in on Tuesday. I am super excited for it. It is going to be a blast and a half, and hope you guys can come and hang out that way. Would you guys shut up? I'm constantly trying to do this, and you just won't. No, Chris, take it away. What do you got? What do you got? Wow us.
I was just going to comment about the fact that you said we're going to play. At best, I'm going to come in and support you, Harlan, but you know my stomach and my constitution does not stand well to those types of games.
I'm sorry.
But if we're going to talk about Resident Evil, can we go back to the past? Because the scariest game I ever remember playing was like Resident Evil on PlayStation 1, when you could barely aim because you're like a third-person view and like 6 bullets, and that was it. It was like the hardest game. Did you play it?
Apparently this new game is supposed to be like a really good throwback to that. So maybe they have similar bullet management.
Well, I will definitely check in to watch you and support you because that's what good friends do. Justin.
Yeah, Justin.
David.
Yeah, David.
You know, also good friends speak up.
Yeah, Justin and David.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin. I mean, David.
Yeah.
All right.
Jed.
That's enough out of me. And you guys, apparently. Without further ado, you guys have now been sent your first memory, as well as the first memory has been posted on the Facebook group. So go ahead, read that, follow along, and here we go back to Revenant, the first encounter. The light flickers on as you see yourself standing on the grated floor of a cold stone basement. The dull flickering lights now illuminate the stained walls and the dark, damp corners of the basement. The ceiling is thick metal slats which look newly constructed, thick screws drilled deep into the ceiling, keeping it in place. On one wall sits a massive freezer door with what looks to be a padlock. The three of you look around, confused. The walls lines with various objects, and a little bit of memory leaches back to you.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't remember how I got here.
No, me neither. Jeb, right? I say as I begin inspecting the things on the walls.
I push myself up and I walk over to Dawn, is it?
Yeah.
And I reach a hand out as it shakes. To shake his.
Nice to meet you. And what does Jeb look like?
A little rough around the edges. Type of person you expect to you find in a dive or a local bar. More like a drifter type, though.
Okay. Well, it's good to meet you. And
what am I looking at when I see Don?
You're looking at a black guy who's a little bit pudgier, got an innocent-looking face, but very symmetrical face as well.
And Doug?
I watch from afar, kind of seeing them meet, and I'm drawn to Don, probably because of his symmetrical face. But I walk over and try to chat with the two, seeing as we all just saved each other's life. Yeah, and as far as the way I look, I'd say a tattered dress shirt tucked into some jeans. Yeah, basically kind of clean cut, but clearly been through some stuff.
I was a little scared that one of you was gonna, press the wrong button. But I'm glad you didn't. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if I should be glad.
I imagine he can see us right now. We should probably Revenant, let us out of this place.
And as you say that, you look around, and again, just your eyes now adjusting. There's a few things you notice right off the bat. First off, your clothes are almost identical to what you imagine the last thing you were wearing, minus the fact that you're not wearing any shoes or socks. You're completely bare feet. The 3 operating tables that you were on, facing each other, sitting upright, are still as you left them. They're all facing the center, sort of in a circle. Looking around the room, you see the outline of an old wooden staircase that looks like it once led up to a door on the 2nd floor. And along the walls, you see a wash basin, a cabinet, a large bookshelf filled with books, a locker with what looks to be a padlock on it, and then your eyes fall upon something written on the wall in thick red lettering. You see this. It reads, "Even when their survivors escape, they will be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, each over his own iniquity."
Does that make sense to any of you?
Well, I don't think who wrote that is really sound of mind. I mean, he's probably the same person who put us in these chairs. And I walk over to look at the chair as I say that. Now, what this looks like a surgical chair, you said, with a drill above it, ready to.
No, it's an operating table that you were fully upright attached to, with a drill that was mounted at the top of it,
and some sort of mechanical devices to restrain our wrists and ankles.
Yeah, sort of what you imagine would be Frankenstein's monster of restraint devices.
Looking at it, do I think I can break pieces off, maybe pieces of the drill or something?
They look pretty well fastened, but with enough strength, anything will break. You might, how about this? With your hands, you don't think you could, but finding a piece to leverage with the table, you could pop a piece off probably pretty easily.
So you think we could take one of those drills?
I don't know, but I imagine we're gonna see something that once we get up those stairs, and I want to be ready. I don't trust this place, obviously. Doug, why don't you go check out that locker?
Okay. I mean, is it a very it's a fairly open space. We can all see each other while they go do this, right?
Basically, yeah, it's a large vacant room, cement walls, metal ceiling, cement floor. Again, the walls are lined, but other than the 3 chairs in the middle and the large freezer door on one side, it's a pretty much square room.
Good, because I want to keep my eyes on the other 2 at all times.
Perfect. And as you walk out of sort of the circle, Doug, you notice that in the corner, you see a camera with a soft red light blinking, and it sits behind a metal grate, recording your every move. And you sort of point at it, and as you do, the other 2 look, and the Revenant speaks over a crackling speaker behind the camera. "The door marks your path towards rebirth. You have 3 hours to escape. Be sure to watch the first step." And it cuts out.
Sure, watch the first step.
And now the red clock on the wall that had 5 minutes adjusts to 3 hours and begins ticking down.
Anything on that padlock, Doug? I say as I make my way over to the book cabinet.
I don't know. I mean, maybe we could. I walk over and I inspect the padlock. Is there anything unusual about it?
So the locker sits against the wall, nothing to either side of it, and there's a very heavy-duty lock on it with 3 digits required, 3 solitary digits.
3 solitary digits. Okay. Is there any way that I could, if I'm looking at the drills, does it look like it's a possibility?
Looking at you, so you walk back over to Jeb, who's also inspecting the drills, and give me a, let's say, logic roll.
Oh, okay. This should go well.
Why are you sneaking up on me, Doug?
No. I just want to look at these drills. I think maybe we could do something with that padlock.
Yeah,
and which one am I rolling?
So you're rolling logic, Doug. So you need a 2 or lower.
I'm right. I'm rolling the 6, though, right?
You are rolling the 6. Yeah.
Right down? Okay.
So no. You
No.
take a look at it and you don't quite. Yeah, you think maybe it could work.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What do you think, Jeb?
Well, what do I think about what?
These drills and that padlock. I want to get that padlock open, but
I grab the drill and I pull it. Well, I don't know how we're gonna get it over there. Obviously, if we could drill the padlock, I'd drill the padlock. But there's no way we're gonna get that over there.
So you
And
start
I look
pulling it
over- I'm
wildly.
getting- yeah.
Yeah, everything feels very, very matted, very tough, very stuck to the floor. In fact, the drill itself doesn't even give that much.
Frustrated, I walk over to the bookshelf and start just pulling books off the shelf.
Whoa, Jeb, hold on.
As
They
the
might be in a
books fall to
particular
the
order.
floor.
Damn it, Jeb. I was just about to look at those.
You're gonna look at some books. You think books
Yeah, I was
are
going to
gonna,
look at books. They might have a combination.
yeah, books are gonna help us in this situation.
We can't be reckless like that. Come on. And I start picking up the books and trying to put them back in the same order. But
So give
I
me a
don't
logic
really
roll to see if
remember.
you can remember the order.
all right. I get a. I've got abilities. I don't know what to reveal and what not to reveal.
No, character sheets wise, you guys can reveal whatever you want.
Okay,
'Cause
so
those are the things that you start with.
yeah, I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So I did
Now-
good at putting books on a bookshelf.
Yes. Now, there are certain things that are going to give you advantages. Certain bits of your past are going to give you plus to rolls. You can say those out loud. You can say, I get +2 to this roll, and so on
Okay.
and so forth.
So in that case, I'm actually going to go with my negative, which is forgetful.
Okay,
But I do get a +2 to my next logic roll.
perfect. So whatever your roll is going to be, it's going to be +2. But we are going to take a negative. So you're going to be rolling 2 die, 1 negative die.
Okay, so I kind of zone out. I kind of zone out of the other two and just kind of go into my shell and just start picking books up, and they kind of muffle in the background as I try to put them in the correct order. So I'm rolling, just to be clear, a 1d6 or 2d6?
2d6, 1 positive, 1 negative.
Okay.
So you succeed. But you have an error. So basically, you remember. Something washes over you and you think, okay, luckily I stared at this just for long enough to remember the order that they get, and you start putting them back up. But as you do, one of the books that you're stepping on, you absentmindedly, again, with your heavy kind of awkward feet, you grab it. It's an older book, and it just tears in half as the spine just sort of falls to the floor in front of you. So one of the books is completely destroyed, basically.
Fuck. Motherfucker. And I see if I can figure anything out just from the order that I put them in.
Sure. So you take a good long look at it and give me a logic roll. And while you're doing that, what are the other guys doing?
I walk over and pick up the book that ripped in half, and I start looking at it.
It's a Bible.
Oh. What's the first passage at the top?
It's the beginning of well, it's just a random page in the Bible.
Okay, I thought.
Yeah. No, but you
Okay.
do, yeah, so you see a Bible.
Page 7.
Now, none of the books that you're putting back have names on the spines, Justin.
None of them have names on the spines.
No, they're all just different colored covers and sizes.
And when I open them, what do they have inside?
So you start flipping through and you get a curious thought. And the one in your hand is also a Bible.
They all Bibles?
How many shelves are there?
There's 3 shelves.
And
or
how
sorry,
many Bibles on each shelf?
Sorry, 2 shelves of Bibles. There's maybe 15, 16 on each shelf, same numbers.
Okay. Maybe that passage on the wall is part of the Bible. Yeah, like Matthew 3:24. That could be like a combination.
Don,
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, but a lot of times books aren't going to get you anywhere, and I think this is one of those times.
I feel.
It's like one of the only things in the room, Jeb.
Yeah,
And
there's also a door to leave the room, so why don't we work on doing that, Don? And we could maybe destroy the bookshelf and take it as a weapon. We can use some of the lumber.
Look, Jeb. Clearly, this guy has a flair for the overdramatic. I think the Bibles have something to do with it.
Well, I'm not going up there by myself, so do what you guys need to do, but please hurry.
So as you guys start looking over the books, Jeb, you turn around. Where are you looking?
I'm walking towards the stairs, and remember what he said about the first step. I'm just inspecting the first step.
So the stairs are gone. What you see is a shadow of what the wooden stairs used to be, and you sort of suss out that this is a basement of maybe a house or a building. There is a door sitting maybe 20 feet up, and you see there's large padlocks, and even from your position, you see that the bottom, the keyholes, are just filled with soldering, like
soldered shut, filled with.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think we're gonna get out this way, guys. And I described it to them. I said, these padlocks have been soldered shut. We're not going to open those. And I see if I can push I go back over to one of the tables and see if I can push it over towards the door.
Sorry, say again?
Can I push the one of the operating tables towards that padlocked ceiling?
Yeah.
So I'll try. I start pushing one over.
Okay, so they are bolted to the floor. So Dawn and Doug. So you guys are pouring through the Bibles, each taking one. Let's give a combined logic roll. Or sorry, a logic roll from each of you.
Okay. All right. Just one?
Yeah, from each.
Okay. All right, that's a success.
That is not a success for me.
Okay. Yeah, so Dawn, you're pouring through the Bibles, and you come across a passage that seems similar. And sure enough, it's Ezekiel 7:16.
7:16?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What do you think of this, Doug? And I show him.
That looks right. That looks like something. I wouldn't put it past this guy. What book of the Bible is Ezekiel?
The one in his hand. There's no cover on it, unfortunately.
No, which book of the Bible are you talking about?
Which order
Ezekiel
is Ezekiel?
Where in the Bible?
Yeah. Like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, right.
I think it's Old Testament.
Oh, dear.
Old Testament?
Old Testament.
Yeah, I think it is Old Testament, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Old Testament.
So,
So we quickly count through, and we realize that it is a certain number.
Well, Ezekiel 7:16. Not that I'm there to know this, but
yeah, that would
probably has something to do with it.
And Don, as Doug is mulling it over and trying to do
Or
some
7:16.
Don just runs straight to the locker and punches it in 7:16.
And sure enough, the lock falls to the ground.
Ah!
How'd you
Pull
open
off the
that?
lock? And I open the locker, and I'm not really doing it.
And as soon as I see him open the lock, I
Obviously.
walk over to him and I have my hands up.
Mm.
How do you know the combination of that lock?
Because of the books, Jeb, the books that you were throwing on the ground.
The books told you a combination to that lock, and you knew where to find that in what page?
Use your head, Jeb. Use your head. That quote on the wall is from the Bible. All right?
Oh.
Jeez. You think the drill actually went through your brain? I say as I rifle through the locker.
And you open the locker, and it's completely vacant, save for one small, yay big flashlight.
Oh.
And I grab it. I say, okay, we only have one of these, so we'll have to conserve it. Then I tuck it into my pocket.
Okay.
Are we sure we can trust you with that?
It's a flashlight. What am I going to do? Shine it in your eyes?
I don't know. It seems like everything is an advantage in this game, or whatever you want to call it.
So let me get this straight. You found the combination in the books, and now you get to hang on to the flashlight. No, if it's all the same to you, I think I should hang on to it.
You want to hang on to the flashlight. Why does that make any sense?
Well,
You didn't help. You were the one who threw the books on the ground.
just for
In fact, yeah, you were the one who was...
a sign of good faith,
Against
maybe,
us.
Don, just to prove to myself and to Doug here that You mean well by us?
And I look back and forth between the two, and Jeb's intent is clear, and I look to Doug, kind of bewildered. Like, seriously?
You know, Jeb, I think I'd rather Don had it just for now. I understand where you're coming from, but clearly he's the smartest out of the two of us. He should probably keep the light.
Well, what's he going to do with it? He's going to keep it in his pocket. A lot of good that's going to do. Maybe it'll help us get out of here.
I'm going to allow a versus roll. I'm going to allow David to use his empathy against you, Jeb.
Can I use a charisma roll?
Sure. So it'll be your... Well, actually, that's perfect because those are the combatants. Empathy versus charisma. So he'll roll his empathy and you'll roll your charisma, and whoever succeeds at a higher level will succeed.
Do I use my +2 as well?
If you have a +2 to your empathy roll, yes, you can.
As do I to my charisma roll.
Perfect. Okay.
So I got a level 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's you want to get under. So
Yeah,
you succeed.
right.
And your empathy, I think, is naturally higher anyway, right?
Yeah, it's at 5.
Right. Okay. So, for whatever reason, Jeb, you feel like Doug has a sympathetic point, I suppose. However you want to roleplay that.
That Doug has a sympathetic point?
Yeah, his point about trusting whatever, he succeeded. So think of it as if he beat you in an arm wrestle, but of empathy. However you want to roleplay it. I won't tell you how to do it. You do whatever you want.
Good luck. Go. Fine, Doug, but maybe we should just distribute the wealth a little next time. That's all I'm saying.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I just think that with our best chance right now is going with the people who are clearly catching on to this guy.
Yeah, Don seems to have a pretty good grasp of what's going on. Perhaps you could use it somehow to work these locks. They've been soldered shut, and I gestured to him. I don't know what to do with that.
Locks on the door?
Yeah, the ceiling that I can't reach.
Now, remember, that door is up there, but that's not the large door that looked like it was the exit to this room. There's a large freezer door, almost the size of 2 people, leading out of the room.
Oh, okay.
At your level. Yeah.
Well, let's get out of here then.
All right. So
After you, gentlemen.
I head over to the door.
So you head over to the door, and sure enough, it's a massive, heavy freezer door with a large sort of pivot handle. And there's a bigger than normal padlock on it with what it looks to be a lettered padlock with 2 lines, both with 5 letters each, for a total of 10 letters.
Lettered padlock. 5 letters. Any ideas what it could be, Doug?
What do you mean, Doug? What? I can figure it out.
Oh, yeah. You can try it too, Jeb.
What about Ezekiel? No, that's not enough.
Yeah, let's ask Doug. He can't even count. But no, not Jeb.
Look, I'm just thinking out loud here.
So just a review of what all is in the room. We've opened the locker and we found a flashlight.
Correct. Yeah.
And actually, I'm going to pull it out of my pocket and take a look at it. But what else is in the room? We've got
there is a large wash basin. There was the shelf with the books on it. Now, they're a bit disheveled and torn. There is a large vacant wall with the lettering on it. There is also now it's a gone stairwell with a sort of, like if you're in a basement, you go up the wooden stairs to the door. It's like that, but the stairs are gone. And that door is like soldered shut. And then the 3 chairs in the center of the room. And the massive freezer door that you're standing in front of.
Massive freezer door with a padlock.
Correct.
With 5 letters on it.
And just so we don't...
10 letters, 5 each.
5 each. So 2 words.
Exactly.
Oh.
2 words.
You were going to say, Jeb, just so we...
we can't open it with the padlock on it, right?
You can try.
I'll give it a try. Just pull on it. Yeah, it's locked.
No, it is locked. That would be a good call, though. You never know.
Yeah.
So as he's doing that, I'm going to take apart the flashlight and look inside.
So you unscrew the flashlight, and it looks identical to this. It's a little red flashlight. You take off the back, and there's a battery inside. It looks like this. It holds a number of batteries. There looks like there's 3 batteries around a center piece. You take the batteries out. There doesn't seem to be anything in it.
Okay.
And you screw it back on.
Maybe have you turned on the flashlight?
That's a good idea. And I turn it on. Is it a regular flashlight?
It is not. It is a blacklight flashlight.
Oh.
Shine that around, see if there's anything written.
Good idea. Good idea. Good idea. And
So you attempt to shine around, but the room is well lit. Can't quite see anything in the bright light.
Damn it! We got to turn the light off somehow.
Looking up, you see that the room consists of 2 large. What the hell are they called? Those school lights.
Plant lights.
Fluorescent.
Fluorescent. Thank you. Fluorescent lights on either side of the room, but they're behind a metal grate with holes about yay big.
And I say, I take off my jacket. I have a jacket.
Sure. Yeah. You have a
And I
jacket.
say, I look Dawn in the eye. And I say, can I try something?
What do you want to try?
I'll need the flashlight.
All right. I hand him the flashlight.
And then I kind of make a tent out of my coat around the wall, and I see if I can find anything. I start going around the room doing that.
Sure. So you start going around the room.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty large room. Are you starting anywhere specific or just?
I'd start probably by the words.
Okay. So you do start by the words, and you notice something. The words are above you, basically. They're pretty large, painted. And the lower words, you see 1 or 2 of the letters light up, but you can't quite back up enough before the light pours in to see if there's anything more to it.
Can I do it through all the writing so that way I see which letters light up?
Sure. It takes a bit of time. You need to sort of get up, but after a few minutes...
As soon as the first one does, I say, over here, there's some letters that are what's that, black light paint?
And this is what you see.
An H, an E, 2 L's, an O, an S, an A, a T, an A, an ant.
Hello, Sam.
An ant. That's not a letter. I'm not book smart. An M.
Come on.
A, B, C, D,
No.
E, F, ant.
A forgotten letter.
It says, it's pretty clear, right? Hello, Satan.
Can you go back to that, Harlan? Can I see?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it says.
That is what it said, though.
Frig.
So I run over the door quickly, and I put that in the pad.
And sure enough, with a click, the lock opens.
We're out, guys. We're out.
Yeah, I don't think we are.
What are you talking about? I say as I open the door.
So you open the door and step into the next room. Is the
Watch
large...
your first step.
Whoop! And you look down, and as you do fall a little bit, but only into a tiny bit of water, about yay high, as the door slams behind you with a weight, almost a mechanical weight, and you hear a loud as it locks behind you.
Great.
How's this room lit?
So there's a harsh orange light to this room. And what you see is basically a very, very shallow hallway, about the width of a person standing sideways. And it opens to a perfectly square room. And on the far side of the room, you see another door. And you can already see right in the center is a large protruding keyhole. And the room is bathed in orange light. It looks metallic on the walls and the floor, except you're standing in about an inch of water. Now, the room is sort of warm, almost inviting. And for a second, you share a nervous look before you recognize the center of the room. There are 3 metal poles from the ground, reaching up to the ceiling, higher than the small little alcove you stand in can see. And as you tilt a little bit, you see that they lead into 3 vents, human-sized vents, big enough to climb. And the poles have small little handles on them, as if they're acting as small metallic ladders.
What the hell? Is that supposed to be how we get to the next room?
And as you say that, the light turns off. And it clicks on again, but now it's a harsh blue. And 2 large metal fans that are on either side of the wet floor start spinning behind metal grates. And you hear a Revenant on a crackling speaker. Each vent contains a key, but only one unlocks the door. Which of you deserves freedom the most? And before you can react, and the crackling stops, you notice that the vents are pushing cold air into the room. Your now damp skin, which was once sort of sweaty and moist from the mist it seems to be in this hallway, is now starting to crack and crinkle under the immediately plummeting temperature of the freezing room.
Shit. I'll run. I begin running forward.
I walk to another pole and I start to climb.
And
I do as well, but I watch my first step on that pole.
Okay, so you each run to a pole. There are 3 poles, 2 closer to the door, one on the left and one on the right, and 1 closer to the entrance. Which pole do you each take? Well, actually, Dawn ran first, I think. So, Dawn, which pole did you run to first?
The one to the left.
The one to the left. Okay, and then it was Jeb. Which one did you run to?
Oh, the next closest one.
Which was the closest one to you? Perfect. Yeah. And that means, Doug, you took the farthest one to the right?
Yeah, farthest to the right. In the meantime, as well, I'm for some reason I don't know, in my gut. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I bring my shirt up over my hands so my skin doesn't attach to the pole.
You do that, and by the time at the point you do that, it actually crisps and crinkles as you try to bring it up, because the temperature has plummeted so quickly, so fast, that the first time you wrap your hand around that, the wet on your clothes is crushing under your weight. And as each of you reach towards the pole, the 2 of you with bare hands, you immediately feel your skin sink against the cold metal of the pole, and you realize what you have just done. As you lift your foot out of the water, which is now quickly turning to ice, it almost becomes slowly hunked as it touches on that first step and crinkles underneath your weight. The temperature plummets fast.
Keep rushing up that pole.
Okay, so step by step, you each begin climbing. The first 5 steps.
Stop myself climbing, and I immediately let go because I look at the distance to the vent. And I think to myself, if the temperature's plummeted this fast, by the time I get halfway up, I'm not going to make it. And the only way I think we can make it is by boosting someone, maybe. So I hop off and just look and try to calculate if that is accurate.
So you hop off and you calculated if that might be accurate. So give me a logic roll. Justin and Doug, you guys start climbing. Give me a vitality roll, which would be your... what's the vitality again? Hold on.
Mine's 3.
It is going to be your... Yeah, vitality. It's called vitality.
Yeah.
So 3. So let's see if you succeed at your vitality roll. It is going to be 1 positive and 1 negative.
I rolled a 2, which means I rolled underneath my logic, so I was successful.
Perfect. So you jump off and you quickly calculate whether the temperature is going to plummet before you get in there. And you think it's a possibility, but you also quickly look around and realize no alternative to the situation presented to you, meaning that the floor that you're standing on right now is quickly solidifying against your feet.
In that case, I do as I saw Dawn do, or Doug do, and I take my sleeves and put them over my hands and start trying to pull myself up just using my arm strength.
Okay, perfect. So you don't put your feet on the thing and you continue. So it will be tougher for you. So it's going to be 1 positive and 2 negatives on your physical roll. Justin, how did yours go?
So I got successful meeting my vitality roll with a 3, but then I also rolled a 1 for my negative.
Okay, perfect. So you again, your fingers let go of the metal pole, and you feel pieces of your skin rip off the underside of your hand as you wail into the echoey chamber. Whoa! But you actually climb relatively quick, and your head just meets the sort of warmth of the vent above you. Now, it is not warm, but comparatively to the room, which is, again, icing very quickly, it feels different, and you begin climbing up. Doug, how did you succeed?
I got a 3. Do I need to roll a negative as well?
Yes, negative as well.
Okay. And a 2. 3 and a 2.
Perfect. Okay, so same thing. But you actually have a little bit more of an advantage because you are going... Yes, sorry, you take a strain, Justin. So just fill out the first... Or sorry, you take a stress, I should say. You fill out that first little box of stress. Okay. And we're going to be using the punishment or the stress actually in this game a lot. So make sure that you keep track of that. And we'll talk about that in a second. But you start climbing the pole, Doug. But actually, because you're using your jacket, you get to the bottom of the thing without actually having to rip any skin off your fingers. But when you reach the bottom of the vent, you realize that it is rather tight, and your jacket is sort of bulky and now almost crisp. And it's tough to fit into it as you continue on forward. And Jeb, how'd you do?
I rolled a 3-2-2. So for my positive, I was tied. For my 2 negatives, I got under my physical vitality.
Okay. So you manage to not have your feet touching, but it's causing immense stress on your muscles as you're pulling yourself up to the top. You do manage to use your jacket, which doesn't rip off your skin, but your arms are tearing as your muscles are continually moving up. Your elbows scraping against the damp pole, tearing bits of skin off of you. And you're going to take a stress as well.
Whatever son of a bitch has put us in here must have something against us. And
you scream out over the loud fans, which are whirring violently, as you see almost snowflakes coming in down.
And as I do that, I kind of try to look over at Dawn to see how he reacts when I say, it must have something against us.
And I'm not really paying attention. I'm trying to push up on that grate.
Yeah, and you're now in the vent. The vent is open, and you're now in the vent. However, again, it is still cold. You feel your skin, the side of your skin, touching the side of the vent around you, as well as the pole as you continue climbing up. You're now blood-soaked hand touching against the freezing metal again. Give me another physical roll.
Okay.
From each of you. If you've used your shirt, I'm going to let you roll 2 positive die this time. If you did not, it's going to be 1 and 1, positive and a negative.
Same roll, so I succeed.
Same roll. So you continue climbing up, the blood leaving stains on the metal as you climb up, as it freezes to it, and you tear your skin over and over, tears forming in your eyes, Dawn. David?
Keep pushing forward.
Got a 6 and a 2.
So three die. I'm going to need another one.
2 positive and
2 positive, 1 negative at this point. Yeah.
6.
Wow, so you're very lucky. So that 6 cancels out your negative 6, and you succeed at a 2 with your vitality. So you crush the shirt very quickly, shaking off the frost, and use it to boost yourself up, hand over hand, and very quickly you reach the top. There's a very dim orange light and a key hanging from the grate at the very top of this vent.
I grab the key and I look around to see if there's anything that I can open right there.
No, it looks like a tight vent. It doesn't look like there's any space to it.
Okay. I grab the key and I just go back down.
Okay, perfect. And how did you do, Hallett? I mean, Jeb?
I got 6, 6, and 4. So my 2 6s cancel out, and my negative was higher than my...
No, they only cancel out if they're on opposite sides, if it's a success and a negative. So the 2 positives don't cancel out, unfortunately. So
I failed, and failed.
Failed, yes. So you climb up a few steps, and your feet, now soaked with water, start hardening almost as chunks, and they clink against the base of the ladder as you continue climbing up, and you just stop. And your blood begins to run cold as you see Doug now starting to climb back down. And you're only about halfway to the vent, and your arms just sort of lock into place as you can barely move.
And my chest starts to hurt as I can't get enough air either.
Mm-hmm.
I breathe as deeply as I can, but it's just not enough.
So take another. I actually take two. No, just one. One stress. So every failed roll that's not canceled out. So basically, any roll on the other side of the spectrum that's not canceled out by the positive roll, mark off a stress in your box, regardless of its number. And as your stresses compile, this is one of the really cool things about End of the World System, and why I think it works so good with this game, is every time you check off 3 stresses in either physical, emotional, or whatever the other one is, social, you actually build a resistance. So, for example, if you have all 3 physical filled out, you're going to get a resistance. So I think at this point, Chris, you actually should build up a resistance to something.
I'm at 2 stresses actually. I believe.
Okay, so then not yet. So yeah, you're stuck there at this point. Don,
Okay.
You are now just a arm's reach away from your key.
Oh, I have a key too?
Oh yeah, all 3 have keys. The question is, which key unlocks the door?
Right. Okay, so I reach up and I grab the key, and my hand is shaking from the cold and the blood, and I am, I'm going to take it. I'm going to stick it in my pocket.
Okay.
My hand's shaking. And now I didn't explain this, but I was picturing my character in a hoodie. Now this is very a convenient time, but I don't think it would really matter. But I do want to pull my sleeves up now at this point. Or actually, no, they're probably too hard.
Yeah, they would be, but I'm going to do a ruling on this just for fairness. I'm going to say what you're wearing on stream is what you're wearing in game. So if you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, you can still do it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're not wearing a hoodie.
No, okay.
David is, Chris is
not.
Yeah. See, this encourages you guys to dress up. so you can, but it is very crinkled, but I will let you do it. However, it will still grant you the advantage because it still would be a little bit of something.
Okay. And then I start climbing down, but at this point I'm huffing, I'm wheezing, and I'm just getting a little loopy, and I tire easily. So getting back down is going to be a little bit trickier for me.
Yes, and so heading back down, Doug, give me another roll. You're now heading down. Your hands are still covered.
Yeah, and I got the key in one of them.
You do. So give me. I'm going to say two positives and 1 negative again. What'd you get? 3, 4, 5?
3, 4, 5.
Okay, so and what's your vitality? 3. So you have 1 success, 1 non-success, and 1 penalty. So basically, you climb down relatively at the speed you expect, and you're only about 2 feet from the ground. However, as you do, your shirt actually begins freezing to the point where it's cutting into your freezing skin, and it starts causing you to bleed warm blood, which actually starts heating up your hands and causing them to start sticking through the shirt as you climb down. Your feet now are raw and freezing as well. And as you enter the area right now, which again, it looks like there's small tufts of snow piling in the corner, you see Jeb clinging to the pole, freezing, his eyes barely moving as you can see he's gasping for breath.
I get down and I run over to him and I just push him off. Would I be able to reach him?
You can reach him, yeah. You'd be running back. You can always test the key because he might need it too, or his key might be the one that opens it.
Right, okay. No, my first instinct, I run over to him and I try to just push him off because I know that the longer that he stays there, the more he's gonna.
Okay.
The less chance he has.
Give me. Let's do a versus. Let's do your dexterity, David, versus his vitality.
Sorry,
What's
I have a 1.
Yours is 1? Okay. Oh, there you go.
Let me see here.
I rolled a 4, so I was unsuccessful in my vitality.
Okay. So
my
it doesn't
vitality is at a 3, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But I can take a punch.
You sure can. Well, he wasn't hitting you. Let's just see what happens.
I got it 2.
Okay. So you run over to him and you grab his hand to pull him off, and sure enough, his fingers just crack underneath your skin as they're sort of frozen in place, and you just hear him screaming "Ah!" as you pull on his fingers, and you quickly retreat and you take a stress, Chris.
Okay, now that nerve damage is kind of setting in, it's getting to the point where I can't even feel my hands or feet anymore. It's just so cold.
Yeah.
And I can start to climb because of that. I'm immune. Like the cold is not hurting anymore.
Oh, so you built up a resistance to the cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like it hurts it was hurting so bad, and now all of a sudden I can't feel anything. It feels like these meat hooks, these hooks on the ends of my hands, frozen in that position. I can still climb.
Like there. You feel, the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes feel black, and you start just using them almost at a sheer will to start climbing. And Dawn, your foot sort of just enters into the ice cold of the main basin area.
Okay. And first instinct, I don't even look for the others. I run straight to the door with the key.
Okay, and you run to the door right past Doug, who's helping Jeb, and you see Jeb now climbing, and the key does not fit. It's just doesn't fit at all.
It's one of the other keys. It's one of the other keys.
Okay, I hear him, and right after I leave that terrifying situation, and I stumble over and also try to put my key in.
And sure enough, you run up to Dawn and you put the key in, and it clicks. And you turn it, and immediately the blue light turns off, and a bright orange light fills the room once again as the fan stops spinning.
Hey, what are you doing? Don't leave me in here. And I start to try to climb down as soon as I hear it.
Okay. And the door in front of you opens.
Come on, we gotta go, Don. Doug, we gotta go. We gotta go.
But it's warm in here.
Don't leave me. I'm my hands are freezing and skin is black, and I'm trying to get down as quickly as I can.
Let's just wait for Jeb.
So Dawn, you jump through the room.
No, not yet.
Okay, so you all wait. Okay, so you're all freezing. So
I fall down at the bottom of my pole, and I'm trying to get it up, and my feet and I start crawling towards the door.
Okay,
hurry up, Jeb! What the hell is wrong with you, motherfucker?
I can't.
As you each wait, I want everyone to roll a positive, negative die.
Okay.
For vitality.
Success, but
so sure enough, you take another physical stress.
Mm-hmm.
My fail goes to my positive, and my tied with my negative.
So you take another stress as well. And David, you take another stress.
How many
negative
do I have?
I don't know. You're supposed to be.
Does my resistance?
No, I think I only have one.
Oh, you know what? It would. Sorry. Once you have a trauma, or what are they called? Once you have a resistance, it eliminates one negative die. Always. This is why it's so important to build up that resistance. So you actually do not take a damage.
So I keep pulling my body along as my feet are numb, my legs are barely moving, and my lung is aching as I pull my body along the floor as frantically as I can, thinking these guys are going to leave me here.
Okay.
Don't you guys leave me. You need me.
And sure enough, you see Jeb run up, and the three of you tumble through the door as it slams shut behind you. And the lights click on. And you see you're in sort of a locker room. There's sort of like a toilet, a stone floor, stone walls. The ceiling is again metal with heavy screws, but the room's very small. It feels only big enough for, maybe 5 people to stand around comfortably. And sure enough, there's a table. I don't know why. There's a table sitting in the middle, just a sort of a bench with 3 sets of clothes on it. And a crackling voice comes from behind you as you see up in the top corner that red blinking light from the Revenant, and he says, "Interesting, very interesting. Proceed when you're ready." And on the other side of the room, there is a door leading to what you can only imagine is the next room. And as you're standing there, looking down at Jeb, standing up, something comes back to you. Another piece of your memories slip into your brain.
And I stand there, blowing into my hands, trying to warm them up, and seeing the blood pooling in the palms as it's beginning to thin with the now heated area, and blood begins dripping down my arm.
It does. And again, for each of you, it's a similar story. Each of you is dealing with tremendous pain and physical stress. So make sure you've tracked whatever you might have been dealing with thus far so that you can appropriately build up resistances to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I walk over to the table to get some clothes to put on.
The clothes are soft white linen.
I don't stop. I'm cold. I'm freezing.
Okay.
I hesitantly walk over to them too and just start inspecting them.
So you take a look at them. Give me a logic roll.
Okay. All right. Fail.
Okay, you can't pick up anything odd about them.
Okay. And hesitantly, I start doing the same as Jeb.
Okay.
Are they white linen, you said?
Yes, they're soft white linen.
Oh, it reminds me of my town's Baptist clothing. I put it on and get dressed.
I do the same.
I walk over.
You guys weren't going to leave me in there, right?
No.
Is that
Close
flashlight
enough.
still working, Jeb?
It's in my pocket. I can't get it out. I gesture to my coat pocket. It's just in there.
I walk over as I'm buttoning up my shirt.
Sure.
Yeah, buttoning up my shirt. I walk over to it and I reach into the pocket. I pull out the flashlight, which is cold to the touch. And I test it to see if it's still working.
And
You guys remember anything how we got here?
seems like it does.
My head's hurting and I can't. My head's all foggy. I can't remember anything.
I don't know. I think I'm just as confused as you are.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how to get to. We gotta figure out how to get out of here.
Is it warmer in this room, Harlan?
Yeah, it feels room temperature. You're not ice cold. You're not freezing.
And as I see the others stop shaking, I continue to shake.
Okay.
I quickly see that they're getting blood stains over all their nice white linen from their hands, and I take my shirt and I rip it, not my white one, not my new one,
Yeah,
but I take
the old one.
my old one, I rip it and start tying their hands, because if there's any way it's going to stop the bleeding, that'll be the way.
For sure.
Yeah, and then I hesitantly as well put on the new clothes, because I mean,
Thank you.
hang on. Yeah.
And as I say that, I kind of hesitate on him.
Now, in this room, there's sort of a thin passage that leads to a toilet behind a large brick wall. So there is sort of a division in this room. In case you choose to speak privately.
Okay. And I
It
say,
is a bathroom, of course, and I'm sure you have to pee.
I do have to pee. And my character also
Does not.
has to pee.
What else is in the room? I'm looking around.
So, other than what I've described, it's a pretty plain room. There are lockers, but they're all open. There's nothing in them. There's the linens put out on the bench. There's a bathroom around the corner, and there looks to be sort of stalls for 3 showers, but doesn't look like the water works. The water works.
Okay. Well, I make my way to the bathroom and
Stop.
leave.
Well, I stop him before he does that.
What are you doing?
I had a crazy idea. I walk over and I said, if these are anything like baptism clothes, and I look down at the water, and I look at the camera, I just want to put it past them. Maybe you should do business over there in the corner.
What are you talking about, Jeb?
I'm just saying. I say if He wants us to baptize ourselves. It's not a lot of choice for water in here. I go and try to turn on a tap for the shower.
And sure enough, it just spins, but there's nothing that comes out.
I don't need to shower. I got to take a piss, Jeb.
Don't pee in the toilet unless you want to be baptized in piss.
What? What are you talking about? It's a toilet.
And as soon as I look in the toilet, is it clean looking water?
So it's around sort of the side. You'd have to walk back a little bit, but you do head
Well,
down
that's
there.
where he's going towards, right? Because he's going to go pee.
Yeah, it looks like an empty toilet. It doesn't look like there's any water in it.
And I pull the back off the toilet. Is there anything there?
It is empty. No water.
Never mind. Do whatever you want. I'll walk away.
I shake my head, exasperated, and I piss into the toilet bowl.
Okay. And you piss very comfortably. And Doug, what are you doing?
I'm just worried for him because I know that this Revenant guy seems to get us at our most vulnerable. So I'm just waiting for something to happen while he pisses. And
Well,
breathe a sigh of relief when it trickles away. And
You do notice that above the door to the next room, there is a clock. That same clock he had, that 3-hour clock, now at 2 hours and, well, let's see.
1 hour 45.
1 hour, 45 minutes. Yeah. Now 1 hour, 45. Took you a long damn time. And actually, as you guys are prepping, that's a good time for the mid-game post. Might as well take a quick break with that. So the mid-game post is the post where you get to comment. The first correct answer to the question I'm about to post is going to get 1 XP. Oh, I do want to mention this, and I'm so sorry. I meant to mention it like 3 times, and I kept forgetting. That first room was designed by Mr. Bob Lyle. That is the freezing room, not the starting room, but the ice.
Well, thanks, Bob, for nearly killing me.
Giving him claw hands.
Yeah.
No,
This was Bob's idea. I tweaked elements of it, but it is in essence, and well, 99.9% Bob's idea. So well done, Bob. You get 1 experience point for us allowing to use your room. If we use your room during the game, you are going to get an XP. And any games we use or any rooms we use furthermore. Every time I'm going to do a Revenant episode, I'm going to involve the community. That's the one thing about Revenant that's really cool. You guys get to build rooms. So there's a lot of rooms here that you guys have built. So should be fun. Anyway, the question for the mid-game post is, what was the passage from the Bible that was written on the wall? First person to answer correctly with this answer, or this question, will receive 1 experience point. Let's see who can do it. I already see someone typing a comment. David, you can't answer. Michael Carl Weber with Ezekiel 7:16. Now, he didn't have the little dots. He had 716, but I'm not in any way going to fault him because there was no way for him to know that it was 7.16 because I never said that. So well done, Michael. Mike said no idea. He just showed up. Shame on you, Mike. Jake also knew. Nola knew. Kelly knew. Brian knew. Rich knew. Tim knew. Sean knew. Who else knew? You knew, and I knew. I'm old because you knew. Break it down now. Break it down. Good. All right.
Make a little dance number.
Cool.
Yeah,
Might come out just in case there's a dance number.
Got to make David feel comfortable in the mid breakdown point. Otherwise, he gets too scared to continue playing. Ain't that right, David?
Too scared to even take down his dice roll.
Yep.
Yeah, take down your dice roll, you monster.
Sorry. I'm no.
What are you, new?
What are you, new?
Like 3 times?
Classic
Not-
newbie move.
Not too scared yet, David. Are you? You're good, right?
Nope. My hands
See?
are still intact.
See,
Because of my
Whoa. Jab at jab.
shots fired.
jab at jab. jab. All right.
That's going to be the joke for the rest of the game. Well, at least I still have my hands.
jab.
Cold.
Round
Oh,
one.
cold. Get it?
All right.
I trust you in real life, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I trust you.
I assume you just.
In real life, if we were in a freezing building, I'm at least 30% trusting that you'd wait for me.
That's
Like depends what's on the other building. Like if there's like a sandwich.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, man.
Right.
That's totally heads up for you.
Yeah. a Dagwood, you're gone.
Oh, I also want to mention, sorry, anybody who's watching this not live, I'm going to be posting the memory leaks to Reddit. I'll have the Reddit link in the description of this video right below, so you can watch the memory leaks as they come out as well, because that's half the fun, sort of understanding what these guys now know that they're secretly hiding. Because I think one of the fun things is the community knows what you each know now and how you're acting going forward.
Are you gonna do like, it'd be interesting for a podcast if you like rung a bell every time a memory happened and like read the memories?
Ding!
Yeah.
Just remember shoving a bottle up his pooper.
That's my next memory.
Justin enjoys
Plus
driving
3
drunk.
to
No, it's yeah, maybe, who knows. I don't think we'll podcast this one. This is more just for fun, but that's how we're gonna do it on Reddit, so look to the thing below for the thing. Enough about me. Let's go back to the horror. The clock on the wall says 3 o'clock. No, it's been only about 4 minutes since you've started peeing, Justin. Longest pee ever.
Oh,
The
that's
Adam Sandler one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Sorry.
All right, and I come back, just wiping my bandaged hands. I guess I don't really need, just like
Justin, boys shake. Boys don't wipe, they shake.
Boys don't
What do
cry.
you mean? Been doing it wrong this whole time. So I make my way back to the other two, and I look at Doug. And what is Doug doing right now?
What is Doug doing? I'm still kind of putting on my clothes, just kind of inspecting them and just trying to get rid of this sense of weirdness and vulnerability about them because they're so thin and light, and I don't have the comfort of my clothes that I knew were part of me. So I'm just kind of getting in a new mindset. Yeah. Sorry to get so philosophical.
That's not well. Oh, that's good. That's I seriously applaud that. I'm not being facetious. That's well thought out. That's definitely in character. David wins role play of the night.
Yeah. So I go over to Doug and I say, "We're gonna get out of here, Doug. We're gonna do it. We're gonna escape. All right."
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. We've got 2 rooms down. And where's Jeb right now? Is he kind of like away from us, or I look over?
I'm around, just kind of in the middle of the room, walking around. I look clearly agitated. Did you take the flashlight from me?
Yes, I did.
Why didn't you try flashing the light? Maybe there's some more writing around here.
Yeah. All right, Jeb. I say as I kind of disengage from Doug, and I flick it on. Where do you want me to look, Jeb? Where do you want me to look?
I don't know. Where would a mass murderer hide writing in a creepy cell?
I go to the front door, the door leading into the next room.
Yeah.
I shine it on there.
You don't see anything.
Okay. And then I just do a general scan of everything else in the room.
And I keep going to all the different
2
shower
hours
stalls.
later.
I go to the shower stalls as he's doing this, and I'm looking around. There's 3 shower stalls, and I'm looking around them. There's maybe some significance to the fact that there's 3.
There doesn't seem to be anything with the shower stalls that strikes out to you. Justin, if you want to shine the light, you're going to have to give me a few specific locations.
Okay.
Not enough to say general is too much.
Okay. What about our clothes?
So you shine them on your clothes and you see stains.
Ooh.
Oh, great.
Everybody?
Yeah, different places. Like you shine it on Doug's clothes and it looks to be a large stain in the shoulder. And like around the neck. You shine it on yourself and you see stains on like the legs.
I'm not the first person to wear these clothes. You see anything in the showers, Jeb?
I don't see nothing. Do I see anything, Harlan? Nothing, eh?
No, nothing.
There's nothing. It's just they don't even work. I walked back out. Maybe check the table.
Sure. Then I shine the light on the table.
You don't see anything on top of the table.
On top of the table. And so I
On
get
top
down
of
on
the
my knees
table.
and I look under the table.
All right, you know what? I'll give this to you just for funsies. You shine the light under the table, and you see something written. It's written in something that is not seeable in the human eye, and it's written in a different font than the writing on the wall in the other room. In fact, it looks almost haphazardly scribbled. And as you sort of hover on it for a second, it looks like it's written in fingerprints, maybe blood. And it says, taped to the back of the toilet.
All right. And I stand up and I just start walking towards the bathroom. I say, there.
Nothing there, you said?
No, nothing
All
there.
right. All right. Well, I guess we don't need the table then. I walk over the table and try to break off a leg.
Okay. Give me a dexterity roll. And Justin, you find this at the back of the toilet, and I'm sending it to you personally, so you can read it.
Okay.
Because this game is about intrigue.
I have a plus
Why
one. Is that
not?
a plus one to my roll or another extra die?
Yeah, so that would become a 5.
Okay. So not successful.
Okay, so you give it a try, but you're well, nothing happens, but you just hurt your hands pulling it, and you can't get it loose.
Damn it.
Doug?
Am I watching the whole scene with Jeb looking down and then suddenly going back for another piss?
Yeah, you're watching everything.
And that was
Okay.
Dawn who did that.
Sorry, Don. Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at this, especially given the fact that he just tried to be honest with me, and I just follow him, kind of like lost puppy-ish, like the way you follow the kid in charge at school, that kind of way.
Harlan was the kid in charge at school, so he doesn't know what you're talking about.
I'm a kid in charge now, all right?
You know, the way that Chris followed you that way. So.
But it's kind of quietly, like it's I'm not like wait up. I'm just kind of going. I just kind of follow.
Okay, so you follow him.
Yeah. And I do I see anything?
Who are you following?
Done.
Done.
Dawn. So you follow Dawn to the toilet. You see him bend down and reach the toilet. And Dawn, you before looking at the piece of paper, you kind of put it behind your back, and you see Doug behind you. And again, you guys are kind of in a private-ish area. It's sort of a long hallway with the toilet at the end of it.
And I say, hey, come here. I feel like I can trust you, all right?
Okay.
And I pull out the piece of paper and I show it to him as well. And I say, I can't make heads or tails of it. I don't know. It looks like a little story, but I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing actually. So
Okay.
I don't know.
And I send it to you as well, David.
Okay. Do you think that we should tell Jeb about this? I mean, we just saved him from that ice storm. Should we not?
I don't think it matters. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if we tell Jeb? I mean, it's just a piece of paper with a story on it, but
How are we gonna get out of here, guys? There's nothing in here.
I mean,
Running out of time.
Everything means something. Clearly.
The clock now says 1 hour and 33 minutes.
look, we got to just find a way out of here. If Jeb comes with us, then whatever, fine. But I just got to get out myself, all right? And I'm going to help you too, because I trust you.
Okay.
All right. And I push past Doug, and I start making my way towards the door. I say,
Okay.
all right, you ready to go, Jeb?
Where do you mean go? Where are we gonna go?
The next room.
I look to the door. It's open. We can just go.
I think so. And I step to the door, and I try to open it.
And it opens.
But damn.
It's actually it's like a heavy sliding door that you need to pull with your hands.
All right. After you.
So Jeb walks through, and Doug sort of skips into as well, and you slip in. And as you do, that same mechanical pressure slams the door behind you. And as you turn around, you see there's no seeable, no grabbable hooks to pull the door back open. And as soon as you cross through the door, Actually, I'm going to do it this way so I don't forget. This next room is by Matt McHale and Mark Lane. I've taken elements from both of your rooms, guys. As you turn around, the first thing that hits you is the overwhelming stench. Almost vomit-inducing. You smell the most putrid, vile, bile essence of evil you've ever smelled, and it annihilates your senses as you each just almost begin vomiting if you had anything in your stomach. And as you turn around, what you see is a short or a fairly long hallway, except a trench is dug in the middle. And in the trench, you see, in the dim yellow light of this hallway, you see wet, sogging corpses of animals and shit and ichor and fecal matter and the most disgusting, decrepit, deplorable things you could imagine. In it, you see needles floating. You see bio-waste symbols, and you each vomit. I'm just going to force you each to take a stress to your for your middle one. Mental. Thank you. God, I don't know why I can't think of mental. Social I got, physical, mental's the one. So each take a stress for your mental. The long hallway, again, is like a trough, and like a butcher's trough almost. It's deep, and the walls are tight. And what you see on the far end is a door, dimly lit in the yellow light. But there is room to walk around the trough. On either side, there's about a walkway this wide that you could walk foot over foot. However, it is covered in broken glass. Hanging above the trough, high enough to jump, there looks to be two long poles that extend all the way across to the other side. The clock on the far side is continually ticking, 1 hour and 30 minutes. The crackling voice sounds behind you from the top corner. You cannot be reborn without strife. And with a crackling, it cuts.
Ooh. So the trough, it looks like it's liquid mostly. Like it looks like we'd have to wade into it.
You would have to wade or swim. There's stuff floating on the surface. There looks to be human corpses, animals, unidentified stuff. And what's below it, you can't even tell because the water is almost a putrid pink-orange color and thick like a gravy.
All right.
I yell at as the thing comes, as I look at the camera, I'm like, what do we do now? Let us out of here.
And you turn around, you bang on the door, and sure enough, it's futile.
How much is the glass? What does the glass look like on the sides?
It looks to be, oh, you fucker. David works at a glass factory in real life. Is it cross-sectioned A, or is it one of the perishables that we use? David, what's the most violent glass possible?
No, in all honesty, I'm just wondering if it's possible for me to like wrap my shirt around my feet and walk on it.
You could do that. It looks to be large, jagged spikes.
Okay.
In South Africa, that's how they instead of barbed wire, they put that on the walls, like pieces of glass coming. It's pretty cool.
There you go.
So I think twice about that then.
Yeah.
So clearly,
the width of it, just to clarify, because Rich Brown asked, the width is maybe 6 to 7, maybe 8 feet across. So it's not like you could shimmy across the thing.
So looking at the pipes in the ceiling, can we just swing across or shimmy?
It looks like you might be able to hand over hand if you wanted to.
And then as I can see Jeb looking at it like that, and then I look at the corpses down below, and I just think, and say out loud, thinking out loud, I say, I feel like people have tried to do that before.
And I look at my hands and I say, I don't think it's any good, even if I did try.
Don, what are you thinking?
I'm looking at the pipes and thinking that they're probably the safest option.
How far across is it?
It's 25 meters.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now the space between the pipes and the ceiling is only about a foot. Just in case you thought maybe you get on top of them and sort of shimmy across that way.
And do they look solid?
They look
Like,
a bit rusty.
Okay.
Hey, hey there, Jeb. I say quietly. What about if we go on our back?
What do you mean go on our back?
Sorry, I meant Don.
Oh, sorry.
Keep getting. I
I
whisper.
hear you. I'll go over here. Do you guys want to...
Yeah, I'll be able to hear.
Okay, I'm still looking at the pipes while they're talking.
Okay, I don't even say it suspiciously. I just say, "What happens if we wait on our back?"
If we go on our back, we got to go through that sludge. But I don't know. Those pipes look rusty, and if we land on that glass, then that's not going to be good. And then we might land on a needle.
Okay, I'll try to start fast. Can I reach the pipes, Harlan?
It would be a full jump, but you probably could. It would be a difficult roll.
Can I try to make some sort of like a shirt? Take my shirt and make a loop so that way I can put it over the pipes and underneath my my arms, under my armpits, and see if that'll help me.
You can try, but your shirt length isn't long enough to really. Well, put it this way: the pipe starts about 3 feet into the muck, meaning if you miss, you land. But more importantly, if you wrap your shirt around, there's two protruding steel beams from the ceiling to the adjusting the bar. So you could get onto it, but you'd have to maybe whip it back around and then get in that way.
Yeah, it's too hard.
Nothing's too hard. And the clock ticks down. It's now 1 hour and 25 minutes.
I gotta get out of here. So you said there's needles floating in the
There's all matter of filth. It looks like a putrid pink orange slime with chunks of corn and human feces.
Corn.
Ew, corn.
Oh, that's the word.
There's a dead hooker just floating face down.
But you said corn. Ew.
Well, no, I mean like corn's like foot corn, like sawed off, like just floating wet.
That's okay then. I
Just floating, rotted, wet, putrid masses of pus just bubbling.
Okay, well,
and keep going.
We could, hey,
it's carrots.
Jeb, like looking to climb those beams, and I say, "Hey, Jeb, we could give you a boost. If we give you a boost, then you wouldn't have to jump up there."
Well, because it's about 3 feet out into the muck, you can boost him, but he still needs to jump forward to get it. Still a chance to grab.
Oh, I see.
The way I figure it is either those pipes are going to fall, or they're not. Now, I'd rather step on those glass shards and fall on them, but someone's got to try it. Now, my hands are as good as done, so maybe one of you guys want to try.
Well, and I show my hands. I say, I'm not trying that.
I'm the only one with hands left, I guess, kind of. So, yeah.
Well, you do have your hands bandaged with old cloth, so it's not like you're totally, they're sore, they're raw, they're torn, they're ripped, but it's not like your tendons are showing or your muscles gone. They're just very, very, very sore.
Guys, I'll do it. I figure I ought to be the one, anyways.
Well, you're all going to need to cross. It's not like a one and done.
Right, but at least I can be the tests the pipes first.
True.
So I say, okay, I'll test.
Well, if you're gonna do that, just tie something around your feet, and get on that glass.
Yeah, first. I reckon you're right. And I go ahead and I do the same. I wrap my feet with the linen, extra clothing, and my hands shaking. Well, here's nothing. I jump for the pipes.
Okay. Now I just want to make this clear because maybe I misexplained it. The glass is on either side of sort of the trench, which sort of goes down like this, and the bars are over the trench. Meaning, if you fell from the bars, you're landing in the muck. You're not landing in the glass.
But isn't there glass on?
It's on the sides. You still could, like, if you swang and jump for it, you could.
Right. I was picturing for some reason like step stones in the middle of the muck across, made from ichor or made from with glass on them.
No. These are like two narrow troughs that cover the entire way, but they're glass. Okay, so you jump. So give me a positive and a negative die roll. It'll be dexterity.
And I have a +1.
Okay.
Success and a fail.
Okay. I didn't think what a success and a fail would have been. So you get there, and you're.
I open up the wounds on my hands.
I guess, right? Yeah, sure. So you suffer a physical stress. Like, yeah, I guess. It sounds lame, but that's about the simplest we can get there. So, but because no, sorry. Because you have a resistance now, any negative die is revoked.
But I have a resistance to all physical.
Oh yeah. Physical resistance.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can name it, but it just means that you immediately remove one of the negative die.
So in that case, I'm just successful.
Correct. I thought about that and I forgot it. So anyway, you jump, and sure enough, your hands clasped around the bar. There's a bit of give to it, but it feels secure for the time being.
And then I start hand over hand. Well, I hope it holds as quickly as I can.
Okay, so you're hand over hand, and you get about maybe or a quarter of the way across. Doug and Dawn, you guys are watching him. He's now about a quarter of the way across.
He's doing all right. He might do it.
Yeah.
Should we just wait? Should we just wait for him?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of bounce to those pipes. I don't know if we should stress it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you continue across, Jeb, you are picking up a little bit of speed, and your hands are feeling good until you feel the razor blades first. And give me a well, let's think here. It'll be a positive. It'll be a positive and 2 negatives, I guess.
So 1 negative. It's on dexterity. It is a physical, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, no, it's still 2 because they could cancel. I don't know. Still, just roll 3 die. A positive, 2 negative. Because it could cancel out, right?
Okay. So I success.
No. Positive, 2 negatives. So that's a success, but 2 failures.
Any number.
No. They only cancel it from opposite sides. Only a positive die cancels a negative, and a negative cancel.
But
negative
one of them is canceled because of resistance, right?
Yes. So it would be 1 failure. So, but a
even
success.
Though I'm a successful failure.
Yeah, basically it's a successful failure. So you grab it and you feel the blood trickle down your wrist immediately. However, you do not let go. So take a physical stress. This would be a check off, but you don't fall into the muck, which is pretty good. And you hear him yelp out in pain.
There's razor blades on there. Wrap your hands first. I'm gonna keep pushing through, even though I'm bleeding. The blood is dripping in my eyes as I'm going through.
Okay, so every handhold.
Oh, really?
Well, they're all.
And then in that case, I would go back.
Okay, so you take it back,
and I would swing my legs up so I can hook a leg on top.
Okay.
And then I would try to, let's see here, take my bandana off.
Yeah.
And grab it with my one hand. And can I put it? That's not even going to help with the razor blades. Just going to go shear through it eventually. Well, I got no choice. I got to swing to the glassy side.
Okay. So
I'm going to try.
Your one hand is bleeding. So first off, just give me just a physical roll, no negative die, just to see if you can hold on, because you just hurt yourself and you're just now standing here trying to figure it out.
I fail. Oh, if it's dexterity, is it vitality?
It is dexterity. I guess dexterity. Yeah, probably dexterity. Or is it vitality? I don't know. It's sort of, you're just holding on, right?
Yeah. So
I would say it's vitality, I guess.
Okay, so then I fail.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you try as much as you can, but your especially your bum hand starts giving loose.
Right.
And so you can try to push yourself, but it's going to be at a more disadvantage. So you're going to try to swing yourself to the glass?
Yeah.
Okay, so give me a positive and 2 negatives.
So I'm gonna do a positive and one negative, but I'll do both negatives.
Yeah, roll them all anyway. Yes. It just means if you have a negative, if you have a pain result, it gets like if you lost both of these, right? But they get rid of. But the chance are it could cancel out your positive, which is why I want you to roll it. Because if you rolled a 6 and a 6, it would cancel out the positive side.
So I failed my positive.
Okay.
I failed my first negative, and I succeeded on my second negative.
Okay. No, you fail your second negative too. They all fail.
So how does a negative work? If you roll above or roll below, you just fail?
Okay, it is my understanding, but here's the thing. My understanding, and again, I could be wrong, admittedly, I'm terrible with rules, but my memory serves is that any negative die is only canceled out by an equal positive die. Meaning that if you roll, that's why you want to roll as many positive die as possible, because you could roll like 3 by being like, well, I'm dexterous, da, 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 which means that if you rolled another 1 in your positive side, it will eliminate that.
I see. So that's why you roll twice, just to
exactly.
So I got 1 failure then after I
exactly. Yes, because we take the 1 away. So you go to swing, and your feet land on the glass, but not the way you wanted it.
That's not how I wanted to be impaled.
Yeah. So you do take 1 physical stress as the glass well, put it this way: you land on the glass, it drives into your feet, and then you tumble into the muck. You describe it.
Okay, so I razor blades. I scream and I pull my hand back and I try to shimmy myself back, and I realize my hand's gonna go, so I swing as best I could, but not enough, and only my feet just get onto the edge of the side, and I feel the sharp glass pieces go into the bottom of my, and I don't feel like Bruce Willis at all. Like
you're lucky because the glass didn't, it sort of
cut a little bit and
it cut them up, but it didn't like stick in, break off, and you're fucked.
But I didn't have exactly, and just feeling that, it didn't give me enough. I probably could have swung there, but the fact that I felt it go in made it so I just could not will myself to put all my weight on it.
Exactly.
And I fell back into the ichor and the muck, and I submerged, and it goes in my nose and my mouth, and you come out,
and you're vomiting, and it's in your eyes, and your own vomit continues vomiting. Yeah. So give me a willpower roll
to keep pushing on.
It's gonna be for a keep pushing on. 1 positive, 2 negative. And you guys, what are you doing?
I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
But all I'm thinking about is that letter that we read.
Yeah.
What the stains that were on the linen? Does that have? I mean, where were they? You said they were on the neck and the
different
legs.
Parts,
different parts. But was it like on the back or the front?
Some was on around the neck, some was on the sleeves, some was on the pants. The one that you were wearing, it looked like when he shined it on you, it was in the shoulder and on the front. And actually, you noticed that there was little stitched up fabric on the front and the back.
Right. Yeah. So it seems like I'm just thinking like whoever had worn these before
is environmentally conscious, and they keep
has gotten through this. That's all I'm thinking.
Possibly.
That's what at the time. But I keep thinking about that waiting on the back thing.
Yeah.
And I started remembering things about sinking sand.
Okay.
And I just yell out to Jeb, just get on your back.
Okay. And what are you guys doing while he's paddling across on his back?
I don't think I want to take those bars. I say to
And Jeb, sorry, what did you succeed at and fail at?
My 2 outside ones canceled out, so I just failed my
perfect example. Okay, so you just color in one of your stresses for your mental. All right. Sorry, you don't want to take the bars, Dom?
I yell, take the bars till about this point, and I point up as I'm wading through. At least you can save your feet there.
How high is it?
How high is it? Maybe 8 feet above the muck, maybe 5 feet above you.
Am I hurting going through the muck?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, but you can feel your blood mixing with the
I'm not gonna make
bile. the AIDS ridden. You can feel the HIV coursing through.
Oh no.
And oh my
all right, guys, how are you getting across?
I
now an hour and 12 minutes left.
I look over to Dawn and I say, I feel like this guy wants us to go through the thing that we fear most. I think we're gonna have to go through this. And you know how the letter said that, you know, waiting on his back? I think we need to, go on our backs through this.
Yeah.
It's the only way to keep our head above.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if we is there something floating in the water?
No.
There's no like
You
body.
sat here watching Jeb do all this, mathematically puzzling out every single way to beat this. There isn't.
No, there's like. Sorry, I'm
there's
just curious if there's like there's a body floating in the water, right? Like there's like
a waterlogged body about 10 meters away.
Okay, all right. I say maybe if once we get to that body, if we just push it along, that will get rid of most of the gut, so it'll be easiest for us to get by.
Yeah, but I think
let's use this rotting corpse to make sure we don't touch anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's like sinking sand, and I think that if we can get ourselves along, and I just get in. I just get in, and I get onto my back, and I start trying to do as carefully as possible with my damaged hands, just kind of like.
Yeah, you don't want to touch them.
Yeah.
Just use your elbows.
yeah. Basically, kind of like.
And you start wading across it, and you can feel the things just tapping into you, and like the little pieces of shit just washing over your stomach, getting caught in your hair, and all this kind of stuff. And to get to the other side, you can make it. There doesn't seem to be any obstacles, but you will fill up your entire mental stress. So all three. And that's the same with you, Chris. At this point, including anything you've already taken, you receive a total of 3 additional stresses. So you should have built up 1 resistant and then whatever extra in the next column. And Justin. All right, Don.
So Don, he's going to hold his breath and slowly wade into the water backwards, the same way that Doug did.
Okay.
And I'm just going to try to mostly kick with my legs and keep my hands above the water.
Okay. And again, you can do that pretty much as the sewage just leaks over you. And again, a full mental stress or a full mental, all 3 get filled as you make your way to the other side. And you see Jeb curled in the corner, his hands bloody and cut, his feet. He's picking pieces of glass out of his feet, and he's vomiting into his own lap.
Just dry heaving at this point. There's nothing left.
There's nothing left. Yeah, you're pretty good. Okay.
As we swim by, I say, just go on your back. It's easy.
On the bright side, some of those needles, I'm pretty sure were opium, so I feel
Oh my goodness.
Perfect. So there you go. And now you're on the other side. And as you are on the other side, you see the door to the next room open.
Do we grab Jed with us? Do we bring him along? Can we?
I'm not dead.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't. Sorry, I missed something. Sorry.
Yeah, might as well. It was useful.
Found those razors.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you stand up and you head to the next room. And you sort of each walk into the room smelling a putrid
Can I
stench.
stop you there for a second? As we're going, I just want to talk to Don a little bit.
Sure.
I say, Don, I think it's important a man clears his conscience before he dies.
What are you talking about, Jeb?
I don't remember much, and I don't know who I am even, but I reckon I owe you an apology. I think I killed something you loved dearly.
Something?
I remember vaguely a dark night and your face and me hitting a dog. And I reckon I owe you a deepest apology.
And Dawn, as he says this to you, you do remember Chris's character specifically, and you remember him hitting your car, killing your dog instantly, and you remember that your dog was your best friend.
He's a son of a bitch. And then I look him over as this memory comes flooding back to me, and I look at Jeb's bleeding, gnarled hands, and covered in this guts over his face, and he's got vomit sticking out of his mouth. And I just think how much this man disgusts me. And I just say to him, looks about right. And I turn around and catch up with Doug.
Harsh. So you enter the next room. And as you enter the next room, the door slams behind you, bathing you in darkness. And through a crackling speaker, you hear the Revenant's voice. Family. Is there anything more important? The blue light ticks on. Oh, sorry, I should say, this room is brought to you by Chris Lawrence. The blue light ticks on, bathing the room in harsh fluorescent lighting. You see the stained tile of the room before you. Walls surround you with white, discolored tiles. Black stains and mold, small, as if piecing a mosaic. The room is large. And before you, you see 3 large metal cells, round, large enough for a person each. But behind it is what strikes you. A massive tank in the center of the room, from the bottom to the ceiling. As the lights continually click on and illuminate the entire room, you see a figure in the tank, a young girl, maybe 13 years old, with a large rebreather in her mouth. She floats in the water tank, completely submerged. The piece in her mouth has a timer on it. It's set at 3 minutes, but it's not moving. Justin, as you see this young girl floating in the vat, a jolt of memory comes floating back to you. She's your daughter. And the Revenant speaks through the speaker. Don. Your daughter was... So again. Don, your daughter was innocent, much like many people in your life, and yet you took her for granted. Will you take her for granted now? Before you are 3 containers, however, they are not of equal size. Don. Fuck. Sorry.
Take 2.
Don, the only way to save your daughter from drowning is to take on her burden. Stand within a container and allow it to fill, drowning yourself and saving her. However, and as you say this, the large cylinder opens like a rolling shutter. And as he continues, you see the other 2 rolling shutters for the other 2 open as well. However, if you each share the burden, then together you stand a chance at surviving long enough for her and yourselves to live. In 90 seconds, the tank will close and the choice will be made. And her rebreather has the 3-minute timer still unmoving, but the timer at the back that typically had your countdown time has a 90-second timer put on it.
I turn to the other 2. I say, all right, we've done this before. We've done this already. We all work together and my daughter goes free. All right. So I gesture to the other 2 to get into the tanks and I go to follow.
Now, one of them, as you're approaching the 3 tanks, one of them seems smaller. About not half height, but a good maybe 3 feet shorter than the other one. You'd have to crouch to enter it. But from what the Revenant has explained, it fills up quicker.
Let me go in that one.
Okay.
Hey, wait here.
What?
You're a little quick there, Don.
Well, I mean, Doug, look, like, look at him. Just look at him.
Well, look at you.
Well, if one of us stands a chance of surviving here, it's me and you, Doug.
And as you're talking,
I just want you to know, though, I can't hold my breath for terribly long.
The speaker cracks again and says, "You have 1 minute. How long can you hold your breath?"
Doug, it's
just so you know, I am going to be making you hold your breath in real life.
It's my daughter, Doug. It's my daughter. He says he wants to go in it. He can go in it.
Okay. If he wants to, that's fine.
So,
and wait.
So wait, so I gotta understand. So he's gotta hold his breath for.
No. You all have to hold your breath. You don't know
Okay.
for how long.
I get a negative
I
probably
see.
because it'll take a lot less for it to fill up. By the way, knowing this, Jeb starts like calming himself down as best he could, breathing really deeply to try to hyperoxygenate his lungs. He doesn't call it hyperoxygenate because he's book dumb.
Hyper did not vigilate.
Yeah, he says, I feel it with the good stuff or something like that.
And then and I look over at Jeb, not even really taking in account what Don said too much and Don's reasonings for him going in there. But I can see he wants to do this. He wants to take on this challenge, I think. And I say, okay. And then I head into one of the normal size tanks.
Yeah.
Okay. And as soon as you step in, a pressure plate triggers and the rolling shutter slaps down.
All right, Jeb. I step to his tank and gesture for him to go in. And I say, if you do this, you're forgiven.
And you're going to follow? You're going to get in your tank at the same time?
Yeah.
I need to see it. Don, I'm willing to do this for you.
You have 25 seconds.
Because I owe you that much, but we need to get in at the same time.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get in at the same time. This is
And I watch him as he climbs in, and I climb in at the same time.
And the minute your feet touch, the rolling shutters come slapping down. And slowly, water begins filling up below you. Starting now, not starting this second, but I am going to start this stopwatch. Justin and David, you need to hold your breath for a minimum of 1 minute. Chris, you need to hold your breath for a minimum of 1 minute and 30 seconds. And for fairness, both Chris Lawrence and myself timed ourselves doing this. I could do 1 minute 14. Chris did 1:19 or 1:20. So it's not unachievable. We are starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the timer has started. The rolling shutters snap as they are bathed in darkness, the water slowly filling up as they each take a deep breath. Outside, the clicking fluorescent lights of the room sit still and silent as the water consumes the 3 tanks. The 3 men inside stand motionless, waiting, hoping that any second the shutters will drop, releasing the water to the floor, while the girl in the tank stands motionless, waiting for something to happen. 35 seconds down. 20 seconds remain on the large tanks as they slowly wait for the shutters to roll back down. 10 seconds left, and they can feel the oxygen in their lungs burning tightly, trying to escape. And just when they feel they can't hold it anymore, Dom and Doug, your shutters roll down, pouring water out to the floor around you. Don't be a show-off, Don. However, the last remains shut, as it's only 1 minute and 15 seconds. You turn towards the last, where the shutter still remains. He tries to hold his breath. You hear kicking from within it. You hear kicking. And finally, the shutter rolls up, exposing the water pouring out. And out onto the floor, the hard floor of the tile bathroom floor, you see Jeb stumble down, fall out.
And what happens to the girl?
You turn towards the tank, and the tank is all but drained. And you look, and you see her, and the rebreather now out of her mouth. She doesn't move, but you see a hole open up in the center. and it drains, and she drops down into the floor as the speaker comes back on. Family is really that important to you then, Dawn. Working together helped this time, but will help you again. The next room is open.
And I walk over to Doug and I say, "Thank you, Doug. Thank you." And I look to Jeb, who's writhing on the ground still.
But now at least not covered in ichor.
That's true.
No, you're all washed off, which is a good place.
And I step to him and I kneel down and I say, "All right. Well, as promised, I forgive you. I forgive you for hitting my dog. And that was really brave what you did, so thank you."
I stand up and I say, "Look, we gotta keep going."
Yeah.
So you each move towards the door at the back. And as you push through, you find yourself in another small room. This time it looks like a storage closet of sorts, but there's not much on the walls. There's an old panel, but it's empty of everything that used to have bolts in it. And the door slams behind you. The large clock reads 56 minutes as it counts down. And this seems to be another sort of waiting room. And as you walk through, the memory of your daughter and the sacrifice that Jed made brings memories sailing back to you as you each remember something else. Which I will send to you in a second.
And it's like another waiting room, kind of like the last one?
Exactly.
Okay, like with the new shirts and stuff?
No, the shirts, there are no new shirts, unfortunately.
Oh,
at those last time. This just seems sort of like a cool down room of sorts.
And say, who do you think this person is, by the way? Why do you think he's doing this?
I don't know.
You think he's trying to punish us for something?
I know I deserve punishment, but I don't deserve this. Did you guys do anything? I mean, I hit your dog, and I'm not so fond of some of my other memories, but I don't deserve this.
I know. I feel like I've seen you on the news. To put it nicely.
We see my hands kind of start to still a little bit.
So we're all connected in some way. Interesting.
Do you remember seeing me on the news? Is that what you said, Doug?
Yeah. I feel like I remember you had done something. But I don't know. They wanted to arrest you for hitting a dog?
I take off my those linens, and I go and I throw it like in the corner of the room to just get it away from me.
Are you completely naked now?
No, I still have my clothes from before underneath the linens.
Oh, okay.
I just want to take the ones that were grossly soaked. Just take a layer off.
Okay.
Right.
And you bend down and you place them there.
We've come this far. We can make it to the end. All right. We'll get through this. You might have killed my dog, Jeb, but as far as I know, you don't deserve this.
No.
None of us deserve this.
And as I come back from the corner of the room, I want to say, I found this. I show them it's a blade, a scalpel. Just where I laid my clothes down there. We might need it. And I put it in my, safely. I put it in my pocket.
All right.
I'm skeptical of him.
It's
even
real,
after
I
this.
swear.
What?
No.
Story checks out.
Okay. So you move to the next room?
Yeah. I think I'm ready.
Okay. So you step through a wooden door, and again, it slams behind you. The house now teaching you that its mechanical rules outweigh yours. This all designed by Revenant, a test to your human side, a test to what you're willing to do to survive. And as you enter the small room, oh no, this one's designed by me. You enter the small room with torn, stained wallpaper covering the walls. A flickering light again stretches the length of the room. Broken glass covers the carpet as you enter. More. But your feet, again, feel okay. On the far side, there's a large door leading to the next area. On either side of it sits large, dark metal boxes with a hole cut into the side, large enough for a hand. A third box sits center of the room, before the door, maybe 10 feet, on a pedestal, and there are large blades on either side of the hole to this one. The crackling speaker echoes out. Individually, your lives have meant nothing. They've been filled with selfishness and deceit. Even amongst yourselves, you lie. When all lose, will one of you step up to sacrifice themselves for the greater good? Or will they need to be motivated? All 3 switches need to be thrown at the same time in order to open the door. However, the one switch will remove the arm of whoever operates it. And you can see the center box, again, has those sharp metal, almost guillotine-esque slicers on either side of the hole when someone would stick their hand in. 3 spots to take, 1 person to sacrifice themselves. Choose, or have someone choose for you. And a clock, not the one that you were looking at, but a 60-second clock ticks on the wall.
What choice are we giving? We all have to put our hand in. One of us is going to get the short end of the stick on this one.
Well, Jeb, you killed my dog. You killed my dog, so it should be you.
I should be so only one of them has blades? Is that right, Harlow?
Only one of them has blades.
I quickly look to Jeb and I say, "What? Why are you repenting? It can't just be a dog. It can't just be a dog. What's going on?"
I'm not proud of my past, but I've turned a new leaf. You know, I'm a holy man now.
30 seconds.
So you're going to do it.
Well, if I do it, I walk over to the blades and I look at them. I start thinking about it.
15 seconds.
Okay, we'll get ready. We got to switch at the same time.
All right, and we'll get something to clot the blood. I say, kind of feeling ashamed of my remark, and I go to the
4,
switch, and I get ready to switch it.
2.
And on one, I don't put my hand in.
Twisticle.
I couldn't do it.
So the 2 of you put your hands in the boxes on either side of the door. Mm-hmm. And Jeb stands there with one hand out. And you hear the crackling of the speaker. Interesting.
I couldn't do it. You guys couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
The trick.
So then, oh, never mind.
You can't interrupt the speaker, I guess. Sorry.
You talk over it, and you never hear what he says.
The true nature of this puzzle was in who sacrifices themselves. For the person who put their hand in the guillotined box would choose from the other 2, whose hand they were going to remove. Interesting that none of you decided to be the sacrificial lamb. I'm curious to see how this turns out. And the door between the 2 of you opens. The double doors crack open. And on the other side, you see what looks to be a kitchen.
I have no shame in
Walk
this.
in.
You were too afraid, too. I walked through the door. Why?
You say you're going to do something, you do it, okay?
Why did I have to do it?
I thought we established that you were going to do it.
I thought you forgave me.
Well, some things are hard to forgive.
Yeah, and some hands are hard to get cut off.
Fine, let's just get to the next room, Jeb.
As you enter the next room, the doors slam behind you. You're in a kitchen, a dated kitchen, rotting food on the counter, a butcher's block covered in stained blood, the fridge half open with black webs of mold sticking from it. The stench reeks. But you see a window, well boarded up. No light creaks through, but you can see in the distance. Or sorry, you can see just beyond the next room, what you imagine is this house must be the exit. In the center of the room is an island. Again, a large meat cleaver attached to the ceiling by a chain hangs down. And again, the Revenant comes to the speaker, this time almost laughing. Will you share the burden once again? Or have you remembered enough to have lost trust? And as the voice crackles off, you notice something. From either side of the kitchen, there are two metal arms protruding. Sorry, this one is from Tim Sant. Well done, Tim. From either side of the kitchen, there are two metal arms, and on it, hands. Human hands, rotten but stiff. One hand seems clenched, as if something is held within it. The other hand is missing 2 fingers. Wait, sorry, there's three fingers. It is missing 3 fingers. It is nothing but a thumb and a finger.
I'm just thinking of the guy from the Scrubs.
Yeah. Wife Pinky. She made me these shorts. And Revenant comes back on the speaker. The closed hand holds the key to the next room, but a sacrifice is needed. Until the open hand has a finger on each of its metal prongs, the hand will stay closed. Again, a clock of 90 seconds begins ticking down. The large, bloody cutting board is sitting in the center with a meat cleaver attached to a chain. And on the empty hand with only the thumb, there are prongs. 3 metal prongs, each for a finger.
I walk over to the table and I put my ring finger down and I cut it off.
Okay. Give me a physical stress. And sure enough.
Ah! There! And I walk over and I put my finger on the prong. Good enough for you now.
There are dirty dish rags all over the counter too.
And I grab one and I put a pressure on it to try to stop the bleeding.
I follow suit and I take off my middle finger.
Okay.
Oh, so I gotta take off my index?
Well, I suppose so. Yeah.
Right. So I
was just inspired. I was inspired by his quick reflexes. Sorry.
It was just instinct to cut off that finger. I didn't think it through.
And you take stress too, obviously, Dave.
I walk to the cleaver.
Yeah.
I'm standing away from the cleaver now that he's there, by the way. I walked away.
So the chain isn't far enough to reach anybody.
No, it looks like it's sort of limited to the area just above the cutting board.
And I stick my finger on the cutting board and I do it.
Okay. Your screams echo out as your bloody finger sits on the butcher's block.
By the way, I take a ring off the finger before I put it on a different finger.
Okay.
I collapse to the ground and I grab my finger off the table and I throw it to Doug and Jeb.
Wrong hand, stupid.
And I pick up the finger and I put it on the thing.
Okay. And sure enough, it sets on, and as it does, you hear a click, and the hand on the far side of the room opens as you hear a metal ding, 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 land on the
I'll go
floor.
over and pick it up before they do.
Okay.
Go to the next room. Let's get out of here.
So you walk to the next room, and it clicks, and the door opens again. This time it's a heavy metal shutter like the ones that locked you in the small cubes before. And as it rolls up, you enter into the next room, and it slams shut behind you. This room looks a bit different. It's another staging area, is what it looks like. This is a rest room, so to speak. Except there are 3 bathtubs, and in them it looks like there is water at the bottom of them. There's a few bottles of rubbing alcohol and fresh cloths, it looks like. And this room has a bit more breadth to it. It looks like it was a makeshift hospital at one point. There are beds, there are medical supplies, it looks like. Some of them are old, but there's also curtains dividing rooms. And there's about 3 rooms on either side. There's the large door at the end and the clock that ticks down, which now says 41 minutes, right? 20, 40, yeah, 41 minutes. And again, the bathtubs in the center have what looks to be fresh water in them. And as you're walking in, what looks to be fresh water in them.
Okay. And I beeline it to the rubbing alcohol and see how much there is.
It looks to be 2 bottles.
2 bottles of rubbing alcohol?
Correct.
Okay. And I apply some to my wound and to my hands too.
I walk over and I say, yeah, can I have that after, please?
I get finished and start patting with the cloth, and I hand him the rubbing alcohol.
I take a sip of it.
Oh!
Oh! And then I apply some to my my cuts all over.
And sure enough, it burns through your skin. You can feel it sizzling at it. And David, you go over and sanitize your wounds as well?
Wait, like sizzling in a bad way?
No,
Am I
like
observing something weird? Or okay, I was like, is it acid? Like
no, it just you can feel it eating through.
I walk over and I do the same, but a little bit more calmly. And I just kind of grab the bottle and slowly apply it, and look around for some sort of cloth to put on it.
Okay, and sure enough, there are fresh cloths. Now, as the 3 of you are standing around the tub with fresh water in it, you each look up at each other as a violent jolt of memory comes surging through your brain. As you hear the Revenant come on the speaker. The last room awaits you on the other side of this door. Who shall survive?
I take another swig of the alcohol and shatter on the ground and swipe with the blade to Justin's neck.
Okay, so it's going to be your dexterity versus his vitality.
Now I've got can take a punch.
Good thing I'm using a razor
I think
blade.
it's not a punch. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
So this is opposed, right?
this is opposed. So you just have to do vitality and whatever the hit's going to be.
Okay. All right. So I got +1.
+1.
I also have a +1 to mine.
And you also have a +1. Interesting. So let's.
But my dexterity is a 3. What is your vitality, Justin?
It's also a 3.
Ooh.
So stalemate.
So
again.
Well, how do you both succeed then? If he successfully dodges, but he successfully hits you, that seems like counterproductive theory.
So let's roll again.
Yeah, I'd say you roll again. I would say he takes a jab at you, and well, I guess nothing happens because yeah, you both would succeed at doing what you're doing, which are contrary terms. So do it again. Okay. So
oh no. Oh good. Yeah.
You rolled 2 die or 1 die?
Oh, that was my the 5 is the second die.
So
2 was my first roll.
I failed to dodge, but he failed.
And you failed to hit. Okay, so now would be the whole he dodges forward to swipe at you, and you No, it's the same fucking problem.
Roll it again.
Both fail, then neither fails.
Oh, bad.
Okay, I tied my vitality. Is that a success or my dexterity?
Yeah, I think
I thought you had a 3.
I do, but I got a +1, right?
Do you have +1?
Yeah, from one of the things you gave me till the end of the game.
Yeah,
+1 to
right.
dexterity. Oh, nice. Okay.
I gave him all future rolls. Okay, so yes, you hit him. Now it doesn't kill you instantly. It's again damage like anything else. But sure enough, I will give you, let's say, because it's sort of an attack of opportunity in a sense. I'm going to say it's 2 physical stresses, just because it's interesting. And describe what happens. You slice it, and blood does start coming out.
I know what you did. I swipe it on as I just took a swig of the alcohol, and obviously it's something that's that high proof alcohol. It hits me right away, especially since I haven't been drinking in years.
Okay.
I'm a violent man, and I'm a terrible man, but you are evil, and you should not leave here.
So how much stress do I take for this moment?
So much stress.
2
So
stress. All right.
Two stress.
So as the bottle slashes my neck.
No, my
No, his scalpel.
scalpel.
Oh, the scalpel slashes my neck. I do get a second resistance.
Yes, you do. Yeah. So
Okay.
negate now 2 points of damage.
Okay. And I say, the fucking motherfucker's crazy, Doug. Help me.
He murdered his wife, Doug. Don't listen to him. He's evil. He's the reason we're here. He's a murderer. I saw him do it with my own eyes.
What the hell are you talking about? You killed my wife. As
I killed your dog. I killed your dog. And I pull my blade out.
That's not all you did. And I grab. Is there something? Is there like a pan? Like a
No.
There's nothing.
There. You could like try to push a bed at him. The alcohol bottles are plastic. There's no bedpans or anything like that. You can maybe find. I'll give you maybe tweezers, maybe like
I
something
kick him
like
in
that.
the crotch. I kick him
Sure.
right in the nads.
All right. So same. So dexterity versus vitality.
So I got success at a 3.
I got a success at a 3 also.
So you guys both have
Do
3.
you still get a plus? Oh, you've got vitality. You got a +1 vitality.
It's to my dexterity, isn't it? Or is it the other way around?
I'm doing
It's-
dexterity now. Your vitality.
Ah,
Yeah, your
so then I
vitality.
failed. So he connected.
Okay, so he connected with you, kicked you right in the nuts. So you take 1 stress.
Even though I have 2 resistance, but that doesn't matter, right?
No, this I'm kind of granting strain rather than like the penalty die are sort of what cancels that out, I think, and that's more like world stuff. This I want to see what happens. You guys are you're trying to kill each other.
What do you mean I killed your wife?
Grab his arm, Doug, quickly.
Doug, don't listen to him. He's a liar and a murderer. I hit his dog. I was drunk. I'm not a good man, but he's murdered. He murdered his wife. I saw him.
You're a motherfucking liar. And what is
Doug, what do you do?
With the news that hits me, I try to just get into the calmest place possible and just
Well, the door to
observe,
the next room is
essentially.
unlocked. The door to the next room is unlocked.
Doug, the only thing that evil needs to survive is for good men to do nothing. We gotta kill him. We're not all getting out
So
of here.
then,
And as soon as I say it, I realize we're not all getting out of here. Doug, go! I'll stop him.
and
I
I
run towards Don to tackle him and keep stabbing at him and yelling at Doug to get out.
Okay.
I look at Jeb and I see that he's truly repentant in this act. And I accept his gift and I run towards the door.
So you throw the doors open, and it's a very small room, a front hall, and there is the front door. But between you and the front door, there's a table. And sitting on the table is a pistol.
I pick it up.
Okay.
Do you keep going or do you come back or what do you do with it?
I keep going.
So you run to the door and it's locked. There doesn't even seem to be a keyhole on it. And you look down at the pistol in your hand and you think it's significant of something else. You remember him saying only one can survive.
And you hear us
And I realized
shouting
that.
in the next room.
Grappling on the floor, screaming, "Dog, get out of here!"
And
While Doug's thinking, Chris, you do your attack. So it's again vitality versus. Although you're using a blade, I feel like that should be more advantageous, really.
I got a 1, and Justin also got a 1.
I'm gonna say you can roll 2 because you know what, kicking shouldn't be the same as blade because if he held a hand up, you could just literally slice through it.
Yeah.
So I'm successful with both.
If you're successful with both, then I say we give it to you.
Okay.
So your blade does slice through him, and it does again a 2 stress to him.
Okay, but at this point, I've bled so much today. I've already felt so much pain. I don't even notice. The adrenaline is pumping, and it doesn't hit me.
And he comes back at you.
Yeah, and I try to headbutt him, and yeah. So got a 2 for vitality.
And did you?
I failed my. I failed my vitality. You rolled dexterity, Justin.
Yeah. Oh, dexterity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he, sure enough, you go to swipe at him, and you do 2 strain, 2 stress to him. So do take 2 stress, Justin.
Yep.
And you are no. This is Justin first, and then Justin, as you're leaning forward, he headbutts you, and you go tumbling back, and
I drop the blade.
I was gonna say no. I'm gonna make you roll to see if you drop the blade because
unfortunately, I'm unconscious.
Oh, then yes, you dropped the blade.
So I lie there back, blood dripping from my broken now nose, hands pierced as I'm lying there with my arms outstretched on the floor.
And I stand up, I push myself up, and I reach over, grab the scalpel, barely standing myself, and I look at it, and I look at Jeb on the ground. Instead of using the scalpel, I just stomp on his head.
And sure enough, your bare foot collides with his skull, driving his own teeth into his brain, which kills him instantly.
Again and again and again.
And
again,
over and over, you can feel his
again
bouncing off your tough heel as the teeth just drive into his skull over and over until his eyes pour out of his skull. And sure enough, Jeb's twitching, lifeless body sits on the floor. As Doug, you've witnessed this entire thing.
Is there a door that I can proceed through and close behind me?
You can try to close the door between the room you're in and the room he was in.
Given what I've seen...
I'm gonna make but you're both sort of halfway through the room and you both sort of saw each other. So if you want to try to shut the door, I think you both have to barrel for it to, like, I guess Justin try to get through and you try to shut him in.
Okay.
I just try to run through the door as quickly as possible.
Doug,
I mean, he's distracted, clearly face stomping someone. I have a bit of an advantage.
I'll give you 2 die versus his 1.
Because as soon as he starts,
but he turns to you and says something. What does he say? Hold on, I want to hear what he says.
I say, Doug. He's right. I killed your sister. I'm coming for you.
And you guys both roll your dexterity, I guess.
Ooh.
Well, is there anything better to do running? I don't think so.
But my dexterity is shit, isn't it? Come on.
You might roll 1, but you can't beat him.
Why? What do you get? Damn,
you got a 1,
you
so you can't beat him.
But you get to roll 2. You do get to roll 2 die. Well, if you succeed twice, that's better.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
You have to roll 1.
Come on.
Oh no.
So sure enough, Doug, you run to the door and you get there, and as you do, he bursts through the door, standing there. And actually, you failed pretty spectacularly. I'm gonna make you roll to see if you drop the gun.
What?
So give me a Yeah. Well,
Reaching for the door at the same time, he bursts over and hits your hand.
That's sort of my thinking, right? So give me a roll. It will be. I'm thinking. Well, dexterity. Yeah, it has to be. Sorry, buddy.
That wasn't that spectacular. It doesn't fly out of my hand.
It doesn't fly out of your hand, but you do drop it, and it skips a bit on the floor.
I reach for it again.
All right, but at the same time, I'm gonna lunge for it.
I figured. All right, so it'll be another dexterity. I will give him again a double because he says, because he is closer. So David roll 2, Justin roll 1.
Okay.
Justin succeeds at 1, so you need 2 1s.
What the heck?
Come on, David. What'd you roll? Oh my!
Oh,
that's weirdly coincidental, though. Well done.
Wow.
So
Come on.
Don scoots right past you, snatches the pistol off the ground, and has it in his hand.
The brother, my stepbrother. Oh boy, I've wanted to have this moment for a long time, and I finally do.
But why? What have I done?
Well, you tell me.
I don't know.
Well, I just know that I don't like you. All right? That's all I know. I don't remember what you did, but I know that if there's one of us that's going to be going through that door, it's me. So, say a prayer.
So wait. You don't like me, and you killed my sister. Shouldn't I not like you?
You probably shouldn't. I say as I raise the gun and fire.
And the gun backfires and kills you instantly. And sure enough, Doug, as you stand, Dawn's body stands for a second as it falls over, lifeless, onto the carpeted floor behind you. And you stand in the front of the room. Dawn's dead body now lying. Jeb's dead in the other room. And you hear the front door unlock.
I walk over to the door and I open it.
And you see the sun. You're at the front of the house.
I look around, searching for my wife, my kid.
You're just sort of on the front lawn of a house.
Okay. No, but I'm scanning for anyone. I'm scanning for anyone.
Looks like a vacant street. There doesn't look to be any houses on it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I take a right.
So you take a deep breath, conquering the Revenant, and you walk out to the porch, and you take that first step. And sure enough, it cracks beneath your feet, and you black out. The last thing, or I should say the first thing you hear, is the Revenant's voice. Wake up. And that's where we're going to end it. Watch that first step. It's a doozy.
It was in my...
He told you right at the beginning. That's your...
I know, and I watched it for a while.
Yeah. You did very good. You all did very, very good. Now, I got to tell you, that gun rig was from the start. I mean, I didn't fudge it per se, but you were a very empathetic character. You're very slippery and wet. I did picture you dropping it, and I did hope that did happen, and that worked out really, really well. So well done. Because that would have been a very uneventful ending if Doug was like, I'm sorry, bam, and then dies instantly. And then you're like, hey. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was Revenant.
Yeah.
These guys did an excellent job. They really nailed these characters. This was our introduction to the amnesia system. So these guys were fed lines throughout the game. Now they don't know what each other was fed. So I'm going to give them because they might be curious. Going in order of Justin, Chris, and David. This is how in the first memory, Justin learned that you remember being shy and quiet in your work life and you're not interested in the world much. He was given +2 to his logic. Chris was, he remembered crashing into Justin's character while driving drunk, killing his dog instantly and got a charisma bonus. And David, you remember Justin's character from your life and you think he may have been a friend. And that was an empathy bonus.
Justin, I had no idea.
Well, and that's the thing. Memory 2, Justin was happily married, and he's to the sister of David's character. Chris remembers being a belligerent man, and David remembers seeing Chris's character on the news, a warrant out for his arrest. Memory 3 was that Justin planned to kill Chris's character. This was changed once Chris revealed that he killed your dog. Originally, the memory was that you remembered him killing your dog. Chris remembers turning a new leaf, giving up alcohol, and becoming a priest. You also find a scalpel hidden in this next room, silently add it to your inventory, which you chose not to, which is fine. And David remembered being dragged into the first room by someone he thought was Chris's character again, just to sort of add more mystery. And then the last memory, Justin, you remember killing your wife in your living room. Chris's character witnessed it. Chris, you remember watching Justin's character murder his wife through the window one night while passing by his house. And David, you remember that Revenant has your wife and daughter. He told you that he would kill them if anyone but you escapes. So that was the subplot that these guys masterfully crafted. And that is the fun of a really cool of the system that we are introducing for this game, because these guys get to sort of tell a sub story to the overarching story that's going to be happening with Revenant, and who knows? We'll find out what happens with David coming back. Now, hopefully you guys saw a bit of the chat. Do you guys have any suggestions for who maybe deserves the end game XP?
I didn't look at any of the chat.
I didn't look at anything either.
Okay, well, and that's fair because this game was a little bit different, unfortunately, because you didn't have any. I saw a few really good suggestions, and I think I'm going to give it to, unless David, do you have anybody?
I didn't see any of the chat either.
We were told not to.
I said the YouTube chat was fine.
Oh yeah, no, I was concentrating. None of this reading the comments.
No, that's fair. I don't blame you. That's fair. It was tough. There were a few good suggestions, but again, a lot of them were from the people who created the rooms. So it's also sort of tough.
We did give them
the rooms with the sludge was pretty creepy.
Yeah, that was Matt. Well, you know what? Let's reward it to the best room. Which was your favorite room?
It's so hard when they're all so horrible.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the holding the breath one just because I like that real world element. Like I like puzzles. I like that type of thing.
Yeah.
The first room was pretty good though with the
freezing
ice.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So quick vote. What would you pick?
I'd say sludge room.
Sludge room?
Yeah.
I think sludge, especially because you just put on these white clothes. I just like the contrast of that.
Okay. So now just because there was two people that helped with the sludge room, there's two elements. Mark Lane worked on the bars and the glass, and Matt McHale basically developed the sludge trench. Which of the two elements were the sludge trench?
The razor blade bars. Oh, some of them are.
I mean, it all just kind of worked so well together.
I know we can't reward 2 XP because they already get XP for doing the game. So I'm going to say Matt McHale, you win the end game post for creating out of these rooms the most interesting room. Weirdly enough. So well done. Now that's Bob Lyle, Tim Sant, and Matt McHale and Mark Lane, who also get XP for developing such an awesome rooms. Now, Revenant is going to return. He's a very, very messed up person. He wants to teach a lot of these characters lessons. So make sure you stay vigilant and watch. And if you think of a room, write it down and save it for when the Reddit post gets re-upped for the next episode of this, so that you can submit your horror room and see what you can inflict upon these guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. We ended a bit early, which is actually nice because it is a weeknight, of course. Next week, we're still a little bit up in the air. As most of you know, Michael is on a bit of a sabbatical. And because of that, we're sort of in the air about what we want to do with Grim right now. We're at a good stopping point. We do want to continue it. So it's just a matter of when Michael, you know, if Michael's going to be gone for a little while, we're going to move on ahead with it. If he is coming back in a few weeks, we might just postpone it. But I think at this point, we're going to be doing a one-shot next week, I think, pretty much guaranteed. So David, you're welcome back, as well as Mr. Guthrie, if he wants to come by, depending on who's running it. It won't be me. So come check us out next Wednesday, of course. Also this Friday night, Resident Evil 7. I'm really excited for it. Holly is going to be hanging out with me. That's why I said us, because Holly and I are going to be streaming it. She's probably just going to be quiet and watching. But, and I said this too, all the horror games I ever played was Holly played them with me. Outlast, Layers of Fear, Alien Isolation. So she really likes watching them. So she's just going to hang out because she actually wanted to see this one a lot. So come hang out with us Friday night. It'll be cool. That's all for me. Do you guys have anything?
It will be.
Yeah, I just want to say good job, community, for coming up with those
Great job,
rooms,
guys.
and
Very
awesome
cool.
job, Harlan, for GMing. That was fantastic. Really
Thank
cool,
you.
cool idea. I'm excited to.
It's interesting seeing Justin be like a horrible character. It's not
Well,
common.
see, but that's
a
sort of the
horrible,
beauty
like
of
a horrible person, not like a bad character. You played a great.
no, but
character.
that's sort of the beauty of that system, because Justin didn't know he was a bad guy till the end,
Till the
right?
very end.
Like he disliked you, but he didn't really know why, and at the end it sort of flipped it, and that I think makes it really tender, because you're like, oh my god, like he's the one role playing on the fly, right? Which is, it's sort of like gymnastics with PCs. It's like improv-nastics, because you're given basically a line and you have to fit it into your character somehow.
What's that game, like catchphrase kind of thing? Or is it
Yeah.
Catchphrase, scenes from a hat, or
Scenes from a hat? Yeah.
Which is there's pros and cons. One of the cons is that it sort of doesn't allow you to develop your character early on. And even Justin himself was like, oh, can I start making stuff up? And I was like, sort of play with what you know, because it's tough. Because if Justin created a character where he was really repentant and very kind, when he found out that final piece of information, you might have felt a bit like, oh, this isn't who I pictured this guy to be.
Well, it's even tough too, because like, well, I mean, it would have been possible, but there are certain memories. Like I was thinking like, oh, like, you know, my grandma used to read me the Bible, you know, when I was a kid, which I guess could have worked, but it might have led my character to believe it was, you know, a certain character.
Well, that's the thing too, and my only like GM concern is it also would paint you too sympathetic in the eyes of these guys, in the sense of they might think that's what your history was. Now, the fun is lying, obviously, but I think it's tough. It's a give and take depending on what you want to reveal as what your character might be saying, because there is a bit of that distrust.
Anyway, kind of a one-off situation.
Yes. Oh yeah, you couldn't do a campaign or anything like that, but. All right, thank you so much for hanging out. This has been a blast. I hope you guys have a fantastic night and a fantastic weekend. And as my boy Chris likes to say,
we'll see you around the table.
We'll see you around the table, guys. Good night.